And that brings us to our session number 33 with some nice themed music for you. And so tonight we have one person in person, who is Stefan, and he is playing
Tidal Rift, a peculiar Water-Genasi monk who is well known for his smut romance novel, which he thinks is the best thing since sliced bread. And, yeah, awkward.
And or sometimes runs away from.
Yes, yeah.
Well, he is infamous for that one now.
He's better at tanking novels than he is actual mobs.
You're not a tank.
I'm the only tank.
Still not a tank.
And then online we have Jeremy.
Yes, greetings. Playing this evening Peredir, the Atruaghin ex-warman and current hero and attempted shaman of the clans.
I'm sure
to try and stop the world being destroyed.
Again?
Well, he doesn't know it again, I don't think.
Well, there's always those stories about how the world ended with a boom. So everyone talks about the sky falling, and dust covering the sky for a while.
Yeah.
Though most learned people refer to that as Blackmore, going boom.
Right.
Which you did actually know about, come think of it. So, yes.
And then there was the second Great Fire Nation that no one ever talks about.
Little minor things.
Because the gods erased them. So the first Great Fire Nation went boom. The second Great Fire Nation offended the gods. And now we've got the third Fire Nation trying to rise. So, what could go wrong?
Absolutely.
Okay, so next person up is Paul.
I could... yes. I am playing Fluel, who is a warlock, rather nicer than most, from what I've heard. He's a part-time healer and a diplomat, and is very much the elven pretty boy. He also spoodulates things, but yeah.
Yes, and we do have a nice picture of our characters up there, so your elf does look amazing in the blues.
Yes.
Okay.
And he does wear blue by preference.
And we did have a few other people floating around. At this stage, we only have the NPC Druzzle with us. The other elf will have disappeared sometime during the whole fiasco currently happening. And so, where we left at last session, you'd travelled down the road after being at Kelvin. And you stopped at a place by the name of Krakatos. Well, actually, you were heading towards Krakatos. You stopped at one of the way stations before it. And while stopped at this way station, you realised it was deserted. And then, with some investigation, the desertion was only an illusion covering the dead bodies everywhere. And we finished the session with you guys raising the illusion, making it dissipate, and being left in a area full of the dead.
Yeah, little tiny problems.
Only a small problem. Could be worse.
So, do we have any idea how long it's been dead for? When the attack occurred?
Okay, what skills does your character have relating to that sort of thing?
Is the blood dry or brown?
Nope. Still wet.
Well,
If it's still wet, it was very recent.
So, I was going to say, he's got decent perception and investigation, so... but he's not trained in medicine. So...
Recently, it's as much as Praedia can tell you because they're still wet.
Yep, no, I'm happy with that. So, And obviously the fact that yes, he's the investigation side of it, being an ex-watchman. Hopefully, he hasn't had to investigate too many murders in his career. But
Yeah.
we are talking about the clans here. With the illusion dissipated,
Yep.
can we see any tracks leading away from the village? Or the in
Give me an investigation roll.
the way station?
Any tracks at all? Yes. Vertigration.
Investigation 18.
Okay, while you're having a look around, you follow some tracks leading towards the river. While you're doing that, what is everyone else doing?
Didn't
Keeping an eye out.
Didn't Drazzle like repel some things last time, or
He did.
worked out that this was a
Yeah.
vampire?
By
haven?
being here.
Do we really want to be walking around
Yes,
in this place?
it was Dressel that repelled them. Don't you think it was the clerical power of Cleridia?
No, Drazzle's hugs obviously repelled
Both
vampires.
Of you. Well, the fact we've got 3 divine-powered people here.
What? So I'm the odd one out.
Yes.
I don't know if I should feel pleased or insulted.
No, we've got a lot of divine power here. It's great for repelling vampires.
Excellent. So I'll sit outside then while you guys do your repelling divining thingy.
Dressel's happy to give you a hug to make up for it.
I'd like to see Drazzle hug some vampires, see how that turns out.
He wouldn't mind.
I'm sure he wouldn't. I'm wondering about the vampires is the question.
Sorry, but yes, I interrupted what Tidal was planning on doing.
So, what is Total doing?
I guess I will follow Drazzle at this point, seeing as he's most likely to... I don't know, I'm just going to trust Drazzle's clericy stuff at the moment. This is very out of depth for Tidal.
Clericness.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a nice pun. You should be a witchologist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to follow Drazzle.
Clericity. Yeah.
I guess be at the ready in case something happens?
Drazzle's, checking to see if people are dead or not, so he keeps lifting feet and dropping them.
That's fine. I'm just going to let him do his thing. I've learned not to interrupt Drazzle. It's generally a good thing.
Yeah.
And what is Llewell doing while Drazzle and Tidal are examining bodies?
Keeping an eye out.
Okay, so as you keep an eye out,
Yes.
give me a perception.
I'm not much of an investigator per se.
You keep disappearing in the camera.
I'm from getting up. Right, I'm not going to use the D26. That would be bad.
Sounds like a reasonable option.
I'm not sure it's a legal option.
I said reasonable, I didn't say legal.
Hey,
I've seen many people do the D12s as their main dice.
I've seen that done by accident. Yes, I've also seen it done deliberately. I still like the time that I overdid things at one point, and I'm going to do this first. Oh, very nice.
26?
Not quite.
On the dial, man.
No, but I got 24 as a total.
Okay.
But yeah, playing what was it, Dragon Quest, which is D100 roll low, and
Yep.
for about half an hour I was using a D4 until someone noticed.
Okay,
Only about
so
4 rolls, but
as
still.
as you're sitting there listening along, your ears pick up the sound of horse shoes on the roadway.
I
thought you were gonna say
will
horseshoe
note
for a
it.
second.
Horse. Right.
And the so the clack of the metal on stone is coming from the south.
I will.
On the road.
I'll stand behind a pillar and point it out to the others. There's horses coming from that direction.
And you also hear the jingle of reins and the horses themselves and the muttering of men.
Do you want me to keep a lookout while you guys keep searching?
Well, I'm keeping a lookout here. It might be worthwhile keeping an eye. It might be worthwhile keeping an eye out for anyone waiting, laying in wait to attack them. So that's what's happened to these guys.
Well, no, these guys were merchants who were staying the night, and the way station got attacked. I would have thought this is more likely to be Karamekan Guard or road wardens coming through a little bit late. But the now the illusion has dropped for everybody, hasn't it? With Penadier's influence, it got dropped for everybody, didn't it?
You believe it got dropped for everyone?
Well, the rest of the party could start seeing it, so yes, I'm assuming everyone can see it. So, well, depending upon where they are and how far I've got with my tracking of these things down towards the river, I will follow those for the time being, but keep an eye out for these riders. But I'll let the talky types talk to visitors.
Yeah. Well, you see you follow a single pair of booted shoes heading towards the river.
Mm-hmm.
And basically walk into the riverbank.
As in walk into the river itself, into the riverbank, you mean?
No, into the actual bank itself.
Well, once you see the footsteps in the bank, either they got into a ship or they got into the water. It's hard to tell at that point.
Right, okay.
Right.
And the booted footprints appear to be humanoid size?
They appear to be humanoid size for a medium-sized person.
Okay.
You sort of estimate male over female, but
and
it's just that's more by size and depth.
Yep, that's right. And they appear to be more likely to be post or pre-incident.
From the age, you'd probably say after.
Right. Yep. Okay.
And the style is similar to the Traldaran style, but it's definitely not a Asian style.
Yeah. Well, I would have said not a Atruaghin style. Okay.
No, considering a lot of Atruaghin don't wear shoes. Not Atruaghin style is not a huge, thing to go in there.
Yep. So, okay. Well, that deals with apparently for a little while.
Okay, so as the other two of you are waiting there for the horses, it takes about half an hour for the horses to arrive.
Oh, okay.
You did get an outstanding roll there, Paul.
I did. We saw them basically on the horizon. Well, I saw them on the horizon.
You're also an elf, so you have outstanding hearing, so I give bonuses for things like that. So it takes about 20 minutes for someone else to start hearing the horses.
Yeah, there are horses arriving 20 minutes later. Yeah, I can hear them now.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
Whereas if you compare them to dragons have extraordinary sight in comparison.
Yes.
May not hear everything, but they got extraordinary sight.
No, they've got the sight of eagles. Yes.
Okay, so as they come into view, you see they are the Duke's Road Guard. They have guardsmen that patrol this road on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
And these little outposts are manned by their soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Right, well, they need to know what's happened here.
Should probably flag them down then.
So, yes, I will go down and...
I reckon they'll be stopping.
Well, they will be, but it's better we flag them down first and say, we found this, and they walk in on us going, look what we've just done.
Sorry, I knew what you meant.
not sure I want to put it that way. Yeah. No, yeah, definitely go down and wait for them. And look innocent without trying to look innocent. Because when you try and look innocent, that's you looking guilty.
So you're gonna make your eye twitch?
No, not quite.
Okay, so you
I'm going to be diplomatic without saying anything.
You reach the horses. You see that there's about 10 of these soldiers on horses. The lead sergeant is looking down at you. Her horse seems to be a little bit sturdier than the others, more like a draft horse than a riding horse.
Yep.
And it does seem to have a lot more muscle mass behind it.
Yeah, it's a destrier.
I bet it's not got as much muscle mass as Drazel's horse has got.
Well, it appears to have more. Appearances isn't everything, though.
Drazel's horse does interesting tricks.
Yes. Yes, having lots of muscle isn't the big one.
And so she looks down to you and says, "So,
we
elf from out of nowhere."
Yeah, we are travellers on this road, and investigators of the unusual, being adventurers, and we have discovered something actually rather unpleasantly grisly up on your little way station up there. There has been a attack by a vampire.
Give me a perception roll.
We're trying to track it.
Yeah. And then you spot the long, sharp teeth on the sergeant's head.
It could be on the horse.
She's riding. I was about to say she's riding a vampire horse. Oh, damn. I got lower than the other roll. Surprised that, but only by 2. 22.
Okay, you point towards where you came from and notice that there's nothing there.
I stand there and look at it going, the concealing illusion appears to still be in place. But if it's one of theirs, she'd expect it to be there.
But remember also the illusion previously, the way station was there, it's just it was deserted.
Yes, but now there's nothing showing. How very unusual. The way station has disappeared on me. Along with my friends.
What happened to the way station? It was here yesterday.
It was there about 15 minutes ago when I walked down from it. I'm going to go and check on my friends. You can follow me if you like and check on your way station.
Okay, they follow you.
Mm-hmm.
As you start to get closer, fog starts to settle in.
Right. This comes down to arm's reach, doesn't it?
And as the fog starts to settle in, you start to make out the edges of the way station in the fog.
Right. Concealed by invisible fog. I want to learn that spell.
So, and then it all looks as you remember it.
Yep.
Mess everywhere.
Yes. I look over my shoulder at the people following me.
And you notice Dressel's currently piling people by size.
Dressel, why are you doing that by size rather than just laying them out?
He's thoughtful like that.
He sort of looks in your direction going, help?
What? Would you rather sort them by colour?
Size is fine. Yeah.
It'll make it easier, for digging large amounts of graves, because we know which ones are the same size to dig and so forth. So
taller, older, he says.
Carry on.
He nods and continues to sort by size.
I see you speak Drazel.
Yeah. You just let Drazel do what Drazel does, and just sort of try and deal with it as it goes. Is that better?
So from where Peter was at the bank of the river,
Yep.
did the way station actually disappear?
No, you didn't leave from.
Didn't go beyond the vision that side. Yep. Okay. Peter will be wandering back from the riverbank, saying that it looks like the culprit potentially left by boat.
Oh, okay.
Give me a perception roll while you're doing that.
Peter failed his religion, so he doesn't know they might fly. Sorry, perception roll?
Yeah.
Oh, he failed that too. Where are we?
Natural one?
No, it's not quite, but with his +8, he got 12.
Okay, yeah, it's quite possible they fled by boat.
Yeah.
Flying wasn't really in your picture right now.
No, this is it. Sorry. I rolled badly on the religion, so figure, yeah, he hasn't met vampires before, so...
Okay, so coming back, you've got the horsemen all coming down, looking around at the nicely piled bodies.
Yes, our cleric has been dealing with the dead in his appropriate ways. These we found when we arrived. Give me a moment, please.
Yes, it does sometimes happen when people have that casting that you sometimes get other people appear. But on the bright side, it's not coming up on the recording because I managed to keep it off to the side. Okay, so Jeremy, you walk in as everyone's sort of staring at a pile of people being piled in different sections around the campsite there.
Greetings, sir.
So he sort of looks around and says, "What do you have to say about this? Not really sure where you're from, but you sort of look a bit cold in all that."
So, the temperature is fine, thank you. Yes, my name is Penedir. We've travelled down from Kelvin on our way to Speculatum, and yes, came across this way station, which apparently had a veil of secrecy upon it to make it look empty. However, it would appear that the veil was merely covering the atrocity you can see here. It would appear that there was tracks of someone after the event led down the river and presumably got away on a boat down the river or upriver. But we did not see such a craft. We did not actually see anyone travelling on the road or on the river for the last few hours before our arrival here.
You can hear her sigh noticeably. She goes, "So we missed it again."
Again?
This has happened before?
Happens about once a year, sometime during this month. One of the way stations along this river just gets completely annihilated by something.
How many have you lost over the years?
About one way station a year.
For how many
And
years?
how many years?
For over 30 years.
So you've lost 30 way stations or the same ones over and over again?
Way stations along this river. That's...
Oh, okay, along the river, right. Okay.
It's a long river.
Yes, I imagine it would be.
And once a year, during this month, a way station gets attacked, and we can't track it, can't catch it. And so I was coming along to reinforce them because we have a lot of guards there now at these way stations this month.
Not anymore.
We didn't see evidence of guards around here, did we? We only saw the merchant caravan staff, didn't we? Or we did see guards.
If you dug further, you would have found guards, but you're following the tracks.
Oh,
okay. Happy with that. So, now, a 20 on history. Are you happy that Penedir would recognise or knows enough about Kanamikan history to say that? So 30. So that's about when the current ruler took over this land, was it not?
the current ruler was around when the current ruler started recording things. So what happened before then, with that history, would probably be in records somewhere, but not considered responsibility of the ruler.
But so when you say that the attacks have been happening for about the last 30 years, was it your folk that actually set up these way stations, or were the way stations here before the Thetans arrived?
We built the roads 30 years ago.
Oh, in fact, actually, no, because Thetan actually took on Caldara about 100 or 200 years ago, didn't it? It's just that Stefan only came in and swapped his lands for Caldara about 30 years ago.
Yep. At this stage, about 35 years ago, which is about 30. And he's the one who started putting roads everywhere when he came in.
Right. Yep,
Until then, it was just a bunch of settlements, like nearly every other Troldas or Troldaran settlement. They were just non-connected settlements.
So it makes sense then that the way stations have basically been attacked since their inception.
Yeah. And also only along this river.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least there's only people to report about or similarities for attacks along this river. There are attacks in various other places of the nation, but this particular attack is common along this river once a year.
So you're suggesting that your state strings have been attacked ever since they started being placed. Do the locals have previous history that might indicate the source of this trouble?
The locals blame it on the curse of Krakatos, which is their ruin on the river.
Ah.
And when they say that there have been attacks along this river goes in various directions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the heart of Karamikos.
Yeah. And so I'm guessing that after after the first few years of issues, the locals informed you that there had been problems prior to that because of Krakos. Is that right?
They blame Krakos, but honestly, anyone who goes in there and tries to change anything generally doesn't come back.
Mm.
So workmen don't refuse to go there.
It sounds like a dangerous place indeed.
Yet the road goes right past it without any issues most of the time.
So, do the locals have any understanding or knowledge of why this month is particularly dangerous?
They don't. They just say avoid the river on this month. Which month is this month again?
I'm sure we're both aware, and we're both using that term. For our purposes, this month works.
Well, if I use the actual month, it does help.
The month of death.
The month of many deaths.
Okay, so apparently it is the month of Thermont, the third month of the year.
Okay.
So normally they only have squads of 5 looking after way stations, but they've increased it to 10 to 20.
Mm-hmm. And with roving reinforcements as well.
Yeah, because they didn't want to say destroy this target.
Yep. So, well, it would appear that you only just missed the location because it seems that the attack may have happened within the hour before our arrival, and we were only here about within an hour or so ago. So,
all the
how far is it to this Krakos?
It is only about a day's travel south, I believe.
Well,
It is a day's travel south.
mm-hmm. And what do your duties entail now that the attack has occurred?
Reporting on it and dealing with the dead. And having to apologize to all the families.
A grim task indeed.
Yeah. Were you able to identify anything relating to this person or persons, or creature, or whatever it is that has been doing these attacks? Because we, so far, have a file and would like a fresh perspective on it.
Okay. Well, as I said, it would appear that it was humanoid. It's the tracks leading down to the river, as you can see down through there. I'll point out that we're going to consider, different question. And it would appear that it was the work of a vengeful spirit of the undead. So,
were there any
I believe
messages left?
I believe the term in Phaeton would be vampire.
Apparently there are some vampire lords hidden in the woods here somewhere.
Hidden in the woods or hidden in Miss Krakow?
Well, Karamikos is a wooded nation. The entire nation is spread through the woods.
We certainly have been passing through woods on the way, yes. But you mentioned that this Krakow was the source of a lot of the local legends.
It's one of the sources of legends. There's also Kragorsky Keep up near Lewin. Is also considered one of the other places of vampire infestation. But then the Redleb Wood and the Dimrak Forest both have their stories of infestation, as does the Crutch Lowlands, the Werwald Hills, and just about everywhere else in this nation has their own stories about vampires and werewolves. Because apparently this is where a lot of them originated.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be the first vampires and the first werewolves started fighting here.
Well,
But it's hard to tell the difference between werewolf and gnoll in some of the stories.
certainly, yes. My understanding of the legends indicate a lot of gnolls were issue, although my understanding was that the gnolls came from elsewhere.
They did, and they were supposed to have been repelled by the Traldaran heroes.
Well, I'm not certain there's much more that I can tell you, good sir. Is there anything any further you wish of us?
She has a look around and seeing tracks that you pointed out, and says, well, her group will spend the next hour or so watching this area, and if you're willing to wait, they'll return back to Specularum with you, so you can provide evidence. They wouldn't want you to disappear in the night on the way back.
We're in no particular rush to arrive. So, you'll say confident with the other three members of ISO, yes. So we're going to disappear like the rest of the guys.
Okay, so while you guys are, resting, you do hear that the soldiers have discovered that one of their numbers is missing.
Oh.
And their indicators that He's the one who fled for the river.
Oh, you mean one of the soldiers who was actually like one of the posted guard?
Yeah.
Yes.
You mean? Oh, okay. So I thought you meant one of the ones who just arrived to basically get taken away.
So he was either terrorized, or he was with the bad guys, or he was taken over by the bad guys.
Overhearing that, Pettidy will actually go down and have another look at the tracks on the riverbank.
Yep.
And just take a look and think, okay, well, if we remove the assumption of they went away on boat, or we consider that's not necessarily the automatic assumption, do we find any evidence or indications that in fact the guy or whoever it was might have continued running straight into the river? Do I get like from the distance between footprints? Was the humanoid running frantically, walking steadily?
Give me a perception investigation roll.
Oh, natural 20. So I made 24.
By the way, the patterns of movement is, it looks as if the person was trying to move without making a sound.
Okay.
Moving as stealthily as possible, and near the river, the movements don't make sense. It's almost as if the person spun on the spot in multiple directions. And so there are feet placed in odd directions.
Because, yes, having noted the fact that he was trying to potentially sneak away, then, yes, it was probably expecting to see the evidence of a boat being pushed off or something like that, but unless he got confused looking for his boat.
And having a look around, you do manage to find what appears to be a short sword in the riverbank.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit further down from where you found the body. So where you found the
The track ended.
but with your natural 20, you're able to notice that there does appear to be a short sword here.
Mm-hmm. I will call this to the attention of the captain of the guard and suggest, would that be a weapon belonging to one of your subordinates?
She looks at the sword, pulls it out, and as she pulls it out, you realise that there's still a hand attached to it, just not a body.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it looks like part of the missing guard.
So, well, it would appear that whilst he tried to keep away, confusion set in, and then something caught up with him, I guess. Is there any evidence of any other tracks in the area?
There are. It doesn't look at. There are your tracks of you investigating, but no tracks of anything he was fighting.
Okay, but the idea being that, yes, looking back and thinking about the footprints going in multiple directions at the riverbank, potentially he stuck away but got caught and was trying to defend himself, or at least, or let's say, had his hand cut off in some way and therefore was wandering a bit confused and in blood loss. Is that with potential?
Give me an insight roll.
16, 21.
You are certain that he snuck to the riverbank during the
attack?
During or right after the attack, and he may have been the last survivor. And you, by the looks and timing of it, it happened around the time you reached the actual encampment yourself. And and he, the movements show that he was being attacked on all sides, but no marks left by any attackers.
the attackers didn't leave any footprints or otherwise. Yeah.
They left no indication of their movement, which the sergeant, she says, is one of the common aspects of all the attacks, is there's absolutely no markings at all from the attackers. So if it's one attacker or many attackers, they can't tell.
Well, certainly one thing that I guess in previous years, one thing we noted when we arrived here was, as I say, there was a veil making the scene appear very calm and deserted. Has that occurred in previous attacks?
Not that anyone's been around to tell about afterwards. Most of the time when someone encounters it, it's the day after it's happened.
And the day after it's happened, obviously it would look a bit like it does at this one at this stage. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
There's no evidence of any hidden or illusion involved.
Or half the time animals have gotten to everything and you have no idea what's happened.
Right.
So, and any divinations don't report back on what happened. So divinations sometimes tell you stuff. Divinations on these are very murky.
Seriously silent.
Oh, that they do say stuff, but they never say anything that makes sense. And never the same thing. So you can have two people divine the same object and get completely different garbled sentences in return.
So, yes. Pettiday is quietly thinking to herself, well, I guess he'd seen evidence of the trickster in this area of the world before, recently. And I wonder just how long he's been influencing this location.
A lot.
Okay, trickster gods love to influence everything. Okay, so they also note down that the hand looks like it was severed in one strike.
It would
appear to be a bit more.
Severed, as in sliced. It is a clean cut.
Right, so cut off.
Yes, I mean, it would seem likely if we're still near the weapon or on the weapon. It's not surprising that it was cut off in a single blow.
Yeah, I'm just making sure
it's not surprising.
Okay, so she recommends packing up and heading south while you can, because if one of the other groups who had stumbled across it during this time is any indicator, this is the first time they've actually got survivors. So
okay.
Well, we're technically not survivors.
You are technically survivors. You've stumbled across it on the day it happened.
Oh.
No one else has ever done so.
Right.
And reported.
I guess that's progress after 35 years.
It is.
I'm sorry that we can't report to you with further information, but we'll witness further details. But
hey, just getting back to the capital of life will be an accomplishment, she says.
Where are you headed from here?
The capital.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we heading back with them, or are we?
Yep.
They're hoping that numbers will keep them safe.
Okay.
Go, Paul.
Sorry, don't worry about it. I've got to go and hand it to Christy anyway.
Okay, so they start wandering, getting all the gear together. At which point they point out there seem to be down 2 guards.
Since when?
Since they've been looking over the campsite, the encampment.
And how many guards went to go to the bathroom?
They don't know.
And are there any axe beaks around?
It is a forest, not a grassland. But that does happen in grasslands, apparently.
Okay, well this is worrying.
Jeremy?
I was going to say, yeah, and obviously we saw no evidence or disturbance and like that as coming through.
Well, when everyone mounts up, that's the first time someone notices that there are 2 guards missing.
Right.
On the bright side, we have mounts.
Well, so Kennedy would privately think to herself, well, hey, technically we've got a lot more survivors now.
Sure, yeah. If only we could, do entire campaigns on technicalities.
You can say I technically won, even though my characters died and annihilated everyone. We won!
Hey, we've had that campaign. I've been involved in those campaigns.
Is that the one where we left you in a mirror to die for 1,000 years?
What was I thinking of? So I guess something that I don't know exactly how obvious it is, but the fact that, yes, Penalty's actually still got his aura up at the moment, because it lasts for the next 24 hours at this stage.
It does.
So I'm guessing that probably meant that, yes, the disappearing guards did not happen anywhere near Penalty.
Yep, and none of my monk abilities will help here, so I will just look as I normally do.
So we shall certainly then do a search around the area again to see evidence, or look for evidence of where these 2 missing guardsmen might have gone.
Okay, so Jeremy, give me a investigation roll.
Another natural 20.
Okay, so you follow the tracks right up to the back of Drazel's wagon. The door's currently slightly ajar.
Why?
Where's Drazel at this stage?
He's currently sorting bodies.
Right.
I thought we left the guardsmen to do that.
Did we tell the guards about Drazel and his wagon?
We haven't said anything about it.
Okay. Can we just huddle together away from the sergeant for a second, please? We have to talk privately.
Not hard.
Out of earshot, I will tell the rest of the party. I have a sinking suspicion that the wagon ate those men, and we probably don't want to let the sergeant know.
Okay, first step, ask Drazel for an explanation, and if his explanation sounds at all plausible, let him give it to them. If not, we'll have to come up with something.
The last time we asked Drazel about the explanation of the wagon was whatever goes in
really
doesn't
scary,
come out.
yeah.
So
yeah,
it's safe to assume we're not seeing those guards again.
His description of them was they go backwards.
Yeah, something like that. So, I'm not looking forward to what's being in there. B, I'm not a babysitter, so if they've gone back in time, I'm not looking after those guards.
Yeah.
So why was this unlocked?
Well, do you ask Drazel?
Yes.
Drazel lock, Drazel not unlock.
Oh, so they broken?
Or unlock itself.
It unlocks itself? Can it unlock itself, Drazel?
He looks confused and says, disturbing if it does.
That's not an answer, Drazel.
Hang on, Drazel just used the word disturbing, so I'm pretty sure that, it's not a very high possibility.
Well, Well, not one that Jason wants to think about anyway.
Can we have a look at the locks on the carriage wagon to see if they've been hacked off or something?
It's a sliding bolt.
Oh, it's a sliding bolt. Okay.
There is no. All it is they slide and pull open.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't really need to worry about security.
Well, no, not if nothing else is coming out again, but that still doesn't mean it's okay. What are we going to tell the captain? Sergeant, sorry. They are one with their people? Like, what do we tell them?
Drazel, our paladin, has taken care of the bodies. We don't need to worry about them.
They weren't bodies.
I thought it was the bodies he was doing that with.
He was looking at the bodies.
No. He was sorting bodies. Yes.
Yeah.
The point is, 2 of the new guardsmen that just arrived have disappeared.
Because A, we didn't tell them about the wagon.
And apparently, they probably went to investigate Drazel's wagon.
And have not returned permanently.
Right.
Wow.
So at that point, sorry, because I did miss part of that because I had to go and give Christy the stuff she came in to give me to do. So I did miss a little bit. So the explanation there is they attempted to find out what was in Drazel's wagon, and sorry, he's got a really good security system.
So you're going to accuse this sergeant's men of theft?
No, I didn't. I was checking out the wagon. The thing is, they didn't ask the person who belonged to the wagon. I'm accusing them of foolishness, not theft.
Okay.
Well, no, because the problem is that what you're looking at there is effectively an undesponded weapon.
A what?
Yeah, we just lock the door again. Peace-bonded weapons are only important in cities.
Or civilized locations like the waypoints along the highway.
This doesn't count as civilized because you need to have your weapons ready in case you get attacked. That's the whole point of having guards here.
Yeah, no, this is a waypoint, so you would still expect that people would be safe.
You'd expect to be moderately safe, but you wouldn't have your weapons peace bonded. You're still on the road. If you're inside walls and there are guards about, then yeah, certainly, but not out here.
Kennedy will basically continue his search for tracks for these guards.
I thought they led up to the
around the settlement.
I thought the tracks went from the campsite to the carriage and then disappeared. Isn't that the case?
Yes. Now he's going to look elsewhere to say he's looking elsewhere.
Oh, right. So are you going to recreate their tracks and move them elsewhere or something?
No, I should say I'm just not necessarily stopping my search.
Like he hasn't found them yet.
Right.
Just keep looking.
If you need to impress upon the ground shapes that you need, I can help you with that. But yeah.
No, Pettidier is not planning on laying. Pettidier is not going to make any effort to lay a false trail.
No.
The guards contract to the Drazel's wagon. That's their capability. Pettidier's a locksmith. He's certainly not going to go about falsifying books.
No.
Why do I feel like we've... just saying, why do I feel like we've just upgraded from a spade to a jackhammer in digging our own grave?
Steam shovel.
Yes. Pettidier's is concerned that Tidal is not doing his job of keeping Drazel in check.
It's not my job!
Drazel didn't do it. He was watching Drazel the entire time.
But I will say, now that we know this is a thing that happens, I think we should put a sign on the back of the carriage saying all valuables kept inside.
Yes, that would certainly save ourselves a number of problems.
Or Dragon.
If we ever get robbed, it'll take care of itself.
Well, there is the thing though. If we probably want to be able to at least identify anyone trying to nick our stuff, or at minimum loot them.
I suppose.
And if we're going around letting the wagon eat them, we're not going to get that. Either of them.
Alright, so I'm assuming you guys are creating new tracks and...
No, it's fine. Penalty makes no attempt to falsify evidence in any way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not touching that.
He's not necessarily advertising what he's found.
Yes. It's a thing that is there. If someone asks, we'll come up with an answer. Sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still don't feel good about this, but sure.
No, what?
Hey, Penalty doesn't feel good either.
No.
Penalty is getting more and more concerned about Drazzle.
I'm less concerned about Drazzle, more concerned about his carriage.
As far as Penalty is concerned, it's one and the same thing.
No, I think the carriage actually has its own alignment.
No, okay. You guys have a different history with Drazzle.
Yeah, what's that alignment?
True.
Chaotic Drazzle?
Whereas from Penalty's history in the group and in that sort of situation, he noted that Drazzle was apparently effectively a follower of Tidal Rift. So...
What?
He thought Drazzle was following you.
Oh! Why would Drazzle follow me? Oh, maybe to write but he writes about all of us, though.
I know, but you're the one he wrote the book about.
Yeah, that's probably because I had the most interesting story.
Yeah. Or at least was at the time. Yeah.
Was at the time, yeah. But he did write a very good book, I have to say. It's good stuff.
But you're not sure how much of it came from the other side. Because he wasn't actually in the location, the other person would have to have told him all about it.
Yeah, so he's probably met my wife and child.
Giving him a hug.
Do I need a hug? No, I'm okay. Drazzle will give me one later.
Yeah. He gives big hugs.
He does. They're good at healing. But speaking of hug, I don't think the sergeant's going to be happy even if we just give him a hug and say, it's okay. But that would definitely catch them off guard if we did ask Drazzle to give them a hug. If we needed them to look the other way, Drazzle can do it.
Okay. Well, okay. After Penalty's done a perimeter search of the way station again.
Yep. Doesn't look like anyone else has gone missing.
He'll talk to the sergeant and say, well, I can't find any evidence of tracks leading out of this settlement other than the one that went down to the river that we've already seen. So,
yeah.
It's unfortunate because they were our trackers that went missing.
I'm
happy to provide services on the way to Specularum. I'm a somewhat skilled tracker from my people.
Okay, so we may have to make use of that she says. And she gets the rest of them to mount up and says a quick prayer to her gods for the missing men.
Mm-hmm.
Praying to the church of Karamikos.
So what happens with this building? Do we just leave it as is? Or is it now cursed, or what?
People will show up in a day or so and repair it, she says.
Oh, okay. Alright.
But till then, they'll avoid it. Go, Paul?
I was about to say, given the 30-year thing, one, the next time will be 30 years away. Two, it's not going to be this one, so this is probably safe now.
Well, no, she didn't suggest it was necessarily on a 30-year cycle. It's just one of the way stations along the road would get hit every year. This station may have been hit. Might have been the same one for the last 5 years running.
Well, sorry, no, it's over 30. Yeah, no, it's every year. Yeah, It might not be this one again.
Oh no, that's right. I'm assuming it's probably not this one for the last 5 years running. Because if they have 5 years in a row, then they probably would have put some more effort into protecting this particular one and still doing the others. But yes.
And it can happen anytime during the month.
Just because the coins come up heads 7 times in a row does not change the odds for the 8th time.
That's right.
That is true.
It could be the yearly vampire lottery. We'll see which one gets hit.
Or just elder vampires that only need to consume once a year.
Mm.
Okay, so they start moving along, and
Yep.
I'll give each of you a perception roll.
Ooh.
15.
21.
7.
Okay, so Llewell, you do notice that when the wagon moves off in place, there are draconic runes all etched under the wagon.
Under the wagon.
Okay. They're protection, I'm presuming.
Well,
Actually, no, it's under Drazzle's wagon?
Under Drazzle's wagon, yeah.
Right. Okay, can I guess they're both concealment and binding?
They were a teleportation circle.
Oh. Right. So those people are being sent somewhere, not necessarily consumed.
But the last time it happened, no one noticed the rooms.
Oh.
Yeah. I will quietly, when we've got a little time apart, not this will be very hard, tell the others that transportation runes on that wagon, not say binding or destruction.
Okay. So, somewhere in the world, we are unknowingly collecting our own village.
Yes. Well, consider that Drazzle said, when we asked where they're going, said back. I would say then that they're going back to where he started from. Or possibly back to Dragonheim.
Don't dragons eat people?
A bit.
So,
He might be sending them back as snacks, certainly.
yes.
I'm just saying it's not guaranteed.
So it's not any less of an issue. It's even bigger of an issue.
Someone's getting well fed.
Wonderful.
Well, you've never seen Drazzle eat people.
No, but his horse had. A couple of stable boys and goodness knows who else.
No one ever witnessed it happen.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yes.
You could always elaborate and guess, but you had no proof that it happened one way or the other.
That's true. That guy just went missing.
Yeah.
So it was either the horse or the carriage. But he could be with all the others.
Okay, so you continue along, and yeah, the thing that Llewell noticed is that it actually left marks on the ground, not on the wagon. So when the wagon rolled out, there were the marks in the mud beneath it.
Right.
So it left a teleportation rune behind?
When it activated, it left marks in the ground.
Oh. That's odd.
That is a bit interesting.
Well, magic items
It sounds
do
like it's
have
using.
effects.
Yeah, it sounds like it's using partly using earth power as a power source. It's got to contact the ground to do it properly.
Okay.
Don't know. Don't know enough.
Okay, so you continue on, and most of the day is shrouded in fog.
Mm-hmm.
And as you go through the brightest part of the day, you see a shadowy castle in ruins on the riverbank as you go past it.
Okay, ask the sergeant what that place is.
They say that is Krakatos.
It does not appear to be particularly inhabited.
You can see a red light in there as you say that.
Still not particularly inhabited. And, yeah.
She turns to you and says, the living don't inhabit that place.
Okay.
We learned the hard way.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't try to harvest any rocks from there because, well, if you do harvest a rock from there, you're pretty much inviting the undead into wherever you build it.
Oh, interesting.
Because they're bound to the rock.
They can just come straight in without any barriers.
Yeah.
So we've learned to rebuild the rock.
Has there been attempts to oust the unliving from the site?
They have, but to be honest, they mostly keep to themselves unless you try to steal from them.
Or unless you travel along the road once a year.
Well, we try to limit that travel. And protect them where we can.
How far do these depletions go? As I say, we came from Kelvin earlier and had no warning or indication there was any concerns about travel on the road at this time of year.
Well,
yeah.
The guardsmen get told about it, but we generally don't tell the public because the more frightened a group of people are, the more likely something will happen. Fear seems to draw them.
Brilliant.
So the most fearful community along the riverbank is normally the one that gets attacked. But again, we can't tell for sure because we tried over the years to lay various traps and not one of them has actually succeeded.
I see.
And wherever there seems to be some sort of clerical presence, there's no attack.
Yeah. Which is why we survived when others didn't.
And there aren't enough clerics to populate every way station.
Yeah.
Well, not for an entire month at least. Everyone has to sleep at some point.
That's true.
Okay. And you continue on, after about an hour or so, the castle starts to fade away from the distance.
Yeah. I make notes on that castle to come back and do something about when we've got the odd few more levels on us and can handle it.
Whereas Peridy's actually trying to make calculations, thinking, okay, how many way stations are there going to be between Specularum and, like in this sort of sense, and therefore thinking, okay, yeah, 2, maybe 3 clerics per station. Leave 2 unattended, and therefore you have the extra guard facility at those locations.
Well, there are technically 9 to 10 way stations between Speculum and the Duke's Road Keep.
Yep.
And there are also various other way stations that you've got. One between Verge and Raphilion.
Oh, that guy. It wasn't just this the North-South Duke Road being affected, was it?
Yep. And that they do also have the Western and Eastern roads. And so when you add them all up for various locations that it can happen, you've basically got maybe about 20 odd way stations. And they could potentially put a cleric at each of them, but that means there's no cleric anywhere else available. And unfortunately, the people are not at the way stations. The way stations are just for getting things to places.
Yeah.
So you're suggesting that it's not always the way station that gets attacked?
Well, it's mainly the way station that gets attacked, but they can't afford to put the clerics at the way stations because that's not where the people are.
Yeah.
And all the towns that are protected by clerics have not actually been attacked.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the clerics spend this month doing their rites of cleansing around their towns.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough too. I say again, he's privately wondering to himself, thinking, how costly would it be to shut the roads for a month?
Well, it's normally foreign merchants who do the travelling around this month.
Yeah.
Yes. And I would have thought that foreign trade would have been an important part of their process, and that if it becomes known that, hey, foreign traders tend to get lost more regularly in Karamikos, even if people don't put together the fact that it's at the month of Tertius.
Yeah, I think they're being allowed. The foreigners are being allowed to travel at this time of year to avoid the nasty things coming into towns. I.e., they're being used as sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, it's no less dangerous than anywhere else in the world. So the fact that you do know that, say, one group of one-way station a year will be attacked and wiped out, you're looking at maybe one wagon load of people.
Yeah.
So one wagon load of people is not a huge thing in the scheme of stuff. That gets lost in the mountains every season at least. You probably lose about 4 or 5 crossings of the Duke's Road Keep.
Yeah. It's perfectly reasonable for the town to sacrifice the Virgin of the Kraken each year. Especially when they don't know the Virgin.
If there are going to be any virgins sacrificed, I think we should trial the carriage thing and see where the virgin ends up.
Okay, so by the close to nightfall, you find yourself reaching the sites of the capital Specularum, the city on the bay, and they have light posts extended out about a mile from the town along the road to light the way.
Okay.
They seem to. The guard says during this month they always have the lights as far as they can maintain them.
No, reasonable plan.
Yeah. Well, actually, while we're travelling around in Karamikos, we could put signs on the side of the wagon saying "Virgin storage, do not touch." And just let things fall as they may.
Yeah, I guess so.
We could, but Villager wouldn't be hanging around very long.
No.
Yeah, just put on the side, tasty foreign merchants inside. Because I'm sure the vampire will love to just walk in there,
Blood wagon.
Oh yeah. Put a little sales sign on it. So, blood wagon, please knock.
Use rear door. I'm sure that will go down well with everyone.
You'd have to put a sign on the top of the door though saying you are allowed to enter. Otherwise this vampire's just going to be staring at the door for hours going, I really want to get inside this door, but no one's invited me yet.
That's true. Put a welcome mat out the back.
Or a welcome mat.
Yes.
Enter all you who seek blood.
No. We just put a runic inscription around the door. Speak friend and enter.
Yeah. Yes, that's still an invitation though.
Yes, until the vampire is standing there for 4 hours, quoting friend in every unknown language we don't know.
Then you know it's the vampire. Okay, so you have about a mile of travel when you reach the gates, and there are about 20 soldiers in full plate mail outside the gates.
Okay.
Well, okay, we're riding in with the sergeant of the guard, so I'm happy that they'll talk to if there's any discussion need to be made with the guards, but we shall aim to continue walking into the town unless because we're officially travelling with the guard to give a report, aren't we?
You are?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they get you to stop while they head over and talk to the soldiers. So
That's fine.
most of the soldiers here are all ready for some sort of attack. They seem to have dints and nicks in their armor.
Okay.
Maybe we should ask what's been attacking this area.
Yeah. I will approach one and ask him.
Oh, they say that the goblins are horrendous in this region.
Oh.
They like to attack from the darkness and retreat before you know what's going on. So we have our show force out here. Which is why our torches only go out a mile. We used to go out about 5 miles, but then they started putting them out. And we couldn't protect that far.
I mean, I might not know much about goblins, but do goblins have such a high tactical intellect?
Not all goblins
Goblins can work well.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Not all goblins do have a great intellect, but the goblins of the Nimrak Forest are amongst the most cunning around, they say.
Huh.
Well,
Well, that's the first time I've heard of tactically adept.
so organized
Goblins.
They like ambush tactics and guerrilla tactics. They don't actually fight in ranks or orders. They will fight singularly in pairs. Their attacks are never consistent.
Yes, but this is still organized behavior.
Yeah, it sounds a bit odd.
And they always attack when they are at an advantage.
How long have they been attacking for?
Since we set up the nation.
So a long time then.
Yeah. Just that every now and then they grow bolder than before. We normally push them away from the road, but we've lost a couple of outposts along the eastern road, and we've currently closed the road. The only way to get to Thyatos at this stage is by ocean.
So, vampires to the left of me, goblins to the right, and here I am stuck in the middle with Drazzle. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Drazzle gives you a
right.
He's your follower.
They also say that there are also werewolves along the western road at the moment. Or wereboars, depending on who you ask.
What the hell did we just walk into?
Karamikos, they say.
It's like a shitstorm everywhere. Okay.
Yes. Weirdness.
It's a dangerous world, they say.
Yes, but of course the interesting thing is the fact that there've been stories about strange events and things like that happening in Karamikos, which is why, let's say, Peter was happy to go along with the idea of searching the Gnomish caravan, or finding the Gnomish caravan, but it would not necessarily appear that any of these events are actually recent or new in relation to Redrian's concerns.
Yeah.
But it's still, as I say, we were still going into Specularum because we were going to jump on a boat down to... No, was there something actually in Specularum we were going for? Was it something...
There were a couple of things there. There was...
It was the sort of thing that it was... There was sort of the... Arendi, I think, was something we were going to eventually, but there might have been something to look at on the way.
Yeah.
There was. I just need to open it.
Yeah, I should go and look at my notes. I know, so my notes are a bit old. I've only got the fact that, yes, there'd been the relic information surfacing from the history of the Caldara had been coming to the surface. Well, yeah. So,
I'm guessing I can't use a Tarask as a mount.
but you can.
Not more than once.
Well, okay. It's a well-protected mount. As in, you're protected from it by its skin. And its skin is very tough.
So, you had been asked to investigate a mirror. Oh, no, you thought you might investigate a mirror, because it was a mirror that some heroes had apparently used and disappeared while using.
Yep.
Right. And that was in Specularum, or was that elsewhere?
That was moved to Specularum, from what you heard.
Right, yep. So,
And they were some of the heroes that had helped keep the goblins at bay. So,
yep.
As you're taken in, you are taken in to see the Duke's Guard and speak with the Elven Guard, because they've been the ones trying to coordinate hunting down undead, with the understanding that not as many elves are undead, and they might have more experience with doing so, because most of them grew up in Redleaf Wood. So they've got at least 100 years of experience dealing with the woods.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're also the most experienced of all the guardsmen.
Yes, well, been around for that long.
Well, when you predate the Thiasan people showing up, it does sort of say something about your skill and knowledge.
Yes.
Well, potentially.
Well,
including been paying attention all those centuries.
Well, no, that's the thing. They're still alive, and they've been acting as guardians of the woods for that long. Yeah, they're good at what they do.
They also have a reputation of being the elite soldiers of the kingdom.
Lots of practice will do that.
Aside from the Griffin Riders.
The Griffin Riders are actually considered second to these guys. Even the Griffin Riders have acknowledged these guys as being the best soldiers here. They're also the Duke's protectors. Whereas the Griffin Riders protect the nation, the Elven Guard protect the Duke.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a long conversation with them, and they take a lot of notes and ask you a lot of details, and you find that you remember a lot more of it than you expected.
Yeah.
And a lot of their discussion is rather pointing towards the conditions of the bodies, when you found them, any sort of magical effects, the spirits and spiritual awareness you had at the time, and basically what happened between then and your return.
Yep. And if they're willing to make it a bit of a two-way conversation at all, I don't know, but if they are, then Peter Deer will also be interested in finding out, okay, what is the sort of thing we've actually walked into or just missed? Is it something that is it based around Kerensky Keep? And is it something that is worth trying to clear out? So,
you do find from them, they believe that the thing responsible, and they say thing, is the first vampire. And it rises once a year to feed. and it feeds on. It prefers to feed on foreigners.
Right.
Because the Traldaran are in fact under its protection.
Oh. Right.
But the
so
thing is,
Karamekans actually count.
And does it count the Thiatan Karamekans as visitors?
The unfortunate thing with its protection is that it actually protected the Traldar, and the Traldarans are descendants of its protectors. So whether or not it actually protects them remains to be seen fully, but so far the evidence shows that it will attack them after all the others have been dealt with.
Yeah. And so the more recent Thiatans are a higher target than the Traldarans, but a secondary target compared to foreign merchants that might be going through.
And it seems to be able to wipe out a force of at least 50 men without any trouble.
Right. So we're set, right? We'll be good.
Yep. We're heading off tomorrow.
I'm going to say no in several directions at this point.
Well, actually, yeah, okay. Penalty completely agrees. No in several directions. No east, no west, no south. We're going north, back to the keep.
They do have notes showing that the attacks can occur in full daylight.
Oh.
And
Brilliant.
that there is no known weakness for this first vampire. So silver, garlic, steaks, running water, anything. Holy water. Holy water doesn't seem to have any effect on it.
Excellent.
And they also know it's not a lich because they've been able to determine that much at least.
Wow. I guess it pays to be local.
In this case, yes.
So, or what was it? Fairmont is not the best time for tourism.
Yeah.
Well, it's the start of spring, so people are generally busy, and normally it's about 1 to 10 people go missing at a time. This is one of the larger groups who've gone missing. We've got reports of 30 dead this time, including 10 guardsmen in that.
Brilliant.
They have had reports of 50 in one go, but that's about once or twice in their recorded history, which does predate the Thiatan's arrival. So entire villages have gone missing to this.
Yeah.
Is there any evidence of increased vampire activity in the months immediately following Thalmon?
There can be, if people don't deal with the bodies.
Yeah.
So part of the detail of the guards is once this happens, they pretty much go and deal with all the bodies afterwards.
Yes, which means staked and or beheaded.
And that's kept things down.
Yeah.
So there's no particular evidence that personnel are actually lost, i.e. taken.
Yeah.
Rarely.
They're killed, but not necessarily removed from the site.
Yeah.
Fire mages have been known to go missing.
Fire major. Right.
Because this vampire seems to like fire.
Oh, I
Right,
hate
like
it.
lights fire rather than sort of avoiding it.
They have records of it controlling a wildfire while being in the middle of it.
Brilliant.
Huh. That's odd.
And apparently, anything he creates is has a weakness of fire. So any vampire it creates has the fire as the weakness.
So
Right.
by killing fire mages, you encourage the growth of your people.
And
Well-
and anything he creates can't rise up and take him out because he can use their weakness against them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, Peter will also require, if they're happy to talk and things like that, as to any other events of interest recently in Specularum.
Yes.
And okay, so while you're doing that one, you are directed to a office on one of the buildings nearby, near the Duke's Guard, and
Yep.
they should be able to help you. They say the elves don't actually give you their names because they don't like giving out their names.
Yep.
They just refer to themselves as the Duke's Guard and leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair enough. Because if you have someone's name, you can trace them, and you don't want a vampire doing that.
And also, by taking the name Duke's Guard, they also don't put any clan or family associated with working for the Duke.
It also makes them sound cooler.
There is that too. Okay, so
Come on, they're elves. That's part of elfing.
their mystique. So you end up at the door they direct you to. Inside, you see a old man and old military man, and a young woman wearing simple blue robes with a some sort of badge on her clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a bandage tied around her head like a headband.
Okay.
Okay.
So, greet them
Okay.
politely.
So let's say, hello, my name is Trenanon. What are you here for?
We encountered one of your roadway stations immediately after an attack by something that killed everybody there. We met some of your troops, or some of the city's troops. Pretty well immediately after that, they didn't unfortunately arrive in time. And we've travelled here as a direct result, a direct response to that.
Well, there are many things happening at this stage. So, I used to be a monster slayer. I used to hunt the monsters of the region. My son is currently doing the same thing. You may have heard of him. His name is Retamaron.
I fear that I'm new to these lands and know none of the local heroes.
Yes, I do not unfortunately recognise that name.
I'm sure that he's done worthy work in the realm.
Well, he has battled the forces of evil and chaos. It's not evil and darkness, it's evil and chaos in this setting. Because they consider chaos evil.
Yes.
And he married a magic user by the name of Halia and settled in the town of Verge. And says, have you heard of Skardar's raiders? It says,
No.
if you have not, It's a long story. For many years,
Yeah.
a magic user by the name of Skardar was terrorizing the backward settlements all over Karamikos and surrounding territories. He had whole companies of followers, cavalrymen, formidable fighters that swooped down on a town, and somehow, no one knows how, he kidnapped everyone in the village, steal all the livestock, and make off with the treasure his men could carry. And
Brilliant.
this was the rub. They were never caught, not one of them. When one of them fell in combat, the rest would butcher him rather than let him fall into the hands of the army or the royal guard. Pursuers would just lose their tracks on the road. The tracks would get to a certain point and mill about a bit and then wouldn't continue on from that point. They were never caught. The kidnapped folk were never recovered or ransomed. The livestock were never recovered. The treasures were never seen again. Skardar's face was never even seen. While about 2 years ago, his boy Retamaron and his lady came down to Speculum to visit him. They went out to do a little carousing and saw some ugly man-jack in a tavern. This fellow might have been part orc by the look of him, was wearing a piece of jewellery Retamon recognised, a brooch that belonged to a lady he knew. A lady from a country estate that was overrun by Skar's raiders a year or so before. She and her staff, all their goods were missing, of course, until Ratamaron saw the brooch that night. His boy's not dumb. He didn't confront his lackey, he just watched him and followed him when the fellow left, mostly drunk, several hours later. Fellow went straight to the house of Malak. He was a local magic user, ranking member of the guild. Nice enough fellow, always willing to help the town masters. Turns out this drunken soldier was a member of Malak's personal bodyguard. That got his boy curious. So he fetched his lady and some adventurers he knew. They broke into Malak's house that night in the wee hours. Good thing they did too. They got to see this Malak and his lieutenant plotting some sort of coup against the Duke. And they found out that Malak was this Skardar. Anyway, they were discovered before they got out and all hell broke loose. What a night that was. Swords in the streets, fireballs flying. Some of Skardar's swine died that night, and some good folk among my son's friends. When all the fighting was over, Skardar was trapped, all his magic spent, in his burning house, and perished there, or so we thought. The royal guard sifted through the wreckage of Malak's house, Skardar's house, and they found enough papers in an undamaged strongbox to support Retamon's story. They also found this mirror. You know what a mirror of life trapping is? One of them. One of Retamon's friends spotted it before the guardsmen, so nobody was drawn into it. Retamaron get this thing all wrapped up out of sight for the day it might come in use. The attacks by Skardar's raiders ended that night, and all was right with the world. Well, a week ago, somebody that Retamaron had jailed began making threats against my boy and then escaped. Retamaron, just to be safe, dusted off that mirror of life trapping and decided to hang it on his bedroom door, facing the hall at night, of course. He made sure the servants were under strict orders not to enter the hall after dawn each day. First night, though, it happened. This here is Andra. She's one of Harley's apprentices. She was there that night and she'll tell you the rest. The girl Andra looks between the lot of you and clears her throat. She speaks in a low, pained voice, and it's obvious that her story is not to be a happy one. Nobody's sure how we got started. It was sometime after midnight, I guess, and everyone was asleep. And then there was yelling and screaming from outside. I found out later that there was some sort of monster out in the hall. The headmistress was yelling, "He's gone! Retamaron's gone into the mirror!" And then she was screaming, and her scream was cut off. The monster had killed her. After all, we all hurried out into the hallway, me and Sarah, and the other apprentices, and Lady Halia, and Craig, and Norin. That's Lord Retamaron's 2 squires, and the tower scribe, and soldiers from the lower floor. And there was some sort of monster in the halls of the top floor. It was like a baboon, only man-height, with black fur and mouth like a huge iron bear trap. It immediately went after Lady Halia. But Craig and Norgan got in the way, and before long, she was able to gather herself. It killed Norin, and then she blasted it dead. We dropped a cloth over the mirror, and Lady Halia tried to call Retamaron out, Like she couldn't get an answer from him, so she knew it wasn't an ordinary. Yep. Sorry, different page. It was an ordinary mirror. You're supposed to be able to talk to whoever's inside, you know, but she couldn't. When she first got the mirror, she thought she must have been empty because there was no answer from inside. But now she knew something was wrong. She gathered up all the magic apparatus, and they took the mirror into their dining room, and they got as many soldiers as would fit into the room, and then they prepared to break the mirror and let him out, and to fight whoever else was in there with him. But it wouldn't break. Not a mace, nor hammer, nor battle axe could break it. So she decided that there was some sort of artifact, an item of great power. She was frantic by then, frantic for Lord Ratmaron's sake, and so she decided to go into the mirror. She couldn't be dissuaded. She put on all her adventuring gear, loaded herself up for bear, and looked into the mirror and disappeared. That's when the other monster came out, just like the first one, and this time we didn't have Lady Halia's magic to help us. He drove into us like a berserker, and before we knew it, he killed poor Sarah and Lieutenant Gerard and cut Craig up pretty bad. I got Craig out of there and got hurt falling down the stairs, we two, and a couple of the cooks, and 3 of the servants, and 4 of the soldiers. And Sergeant Alkin, we were all that got out alive, 12 out of more than 40. And most of us hurt pretty bad. She shakes her head sorrowful. Terramons takes over again, and that's why I wanted to talk to you. Something's awful going on with the mirror, and we've brought it here. Are you able to find out what's going on?
We can certainly attempt to find out. We've had a little experience with magic mirrors of this sort of type. We'll see what we can do.
Indeed.
Okay, so that's basically the person describing it. There we go.
All right.
That's how they describe the creature.
Uh-huh.
And the eye in the sling is part of the attack? Or result of the attack?
As a result of the attack. Because she was hurt badly doing it. They describe her as having a bandage around her head.
Yep.
But, you know, like all good pictures, why should the picture actually represent the description?
Okay, the artist never needs to look at the writer.
Yeah, a lot of the time, artists will read like the first paragraph and then work from there.
Or the description came later and they forgot to marry them up.
Yes, it's possible that they edited that particular paragraph, because a lot of the time the art is put in at the same time as the final version of the text.
Now, are we actually look at that picture? It looked like we'd gone more to the tavern side of the house. We're not actually in the guards' quarters at this stage anymore.
Well, the guards' quarter that you were sent to, that's basically, it's more made out of wood than stone. The elf and the Duke's Guard are in the main fortress, whereas all the side buildings that his people use are more wood than stone.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. But technically, we're still in the guards areas. Is that the case?
That is correct. Yes.
But I'm assuming that they're not planning on putting it up for the night as such.
They could put you up for the night if you request, but you would then have to ask.
Yeah, no, they haven't indicated that. Hey, thanks for your help. There's a bed over there. Type stuff. So. In which they say, so Pettidier will be assuming that that's a no. Well, I say he wasn't planning on trying to. Although, okay. I just look at the fact that, yes, he has the ability that, well, he can easily find the local watchhouse. That doesn't necessarily mean you'll get a good reception at the local watchhouse.
Because they're going to go, what, a barbarian? The hell are you?
Okay, so while you guys figure out what you're going to do, I'm just going to make a quick bathroom dash.
Yep. Okay, well, this is obviously, here's the adventure for the location.
Where?
Hiding behind a brick. Yes. Looking at the first place to start investigating, we don't necessarily want to sort of start with the mirror, although looking at its back might be a good start. I don't want to look in it. Probably bad.
Well, did we get an indication of where the mirror was at that stage? The storyteller knew because he'd been there.
Well, they didn't describe sort of someone ran off with it or we've dumped it down a well or anything like that. So yeah. We'll do stuff with this one. We'll investigate leads or ask them for sort of, you know the location better than we do. Where would you suggest we start having a look? We'll then work things out from there. I think that would be the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
So just for amusement for you, Paul, if Jeremy hasn't mentioned, it's actually Jeremy's Wednesday night character's mentor in the mirror.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So getting him out would be nice to your other character, right?
Well,
it does mean if you don't get her out, she's going to be in there for at least a year before the other character gets a chance to do anything.
That's right. So Dimitri doesn't know anything about it yet. So.
But as the fact that Dimitri met her the year later, so someone gets her out this year.
That's right. She obviously escapes.
Yes.
And in fact, during the conversation Dimitri had with her, he didn't mention anything about some fallen heroes, barbarian and elf, and a Tanasi that were the ones who got her out. So obviously we didn't do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. All right. So checking my my knowledge, my extensive knowledge of many things, my history. What do I know about the mirror of life trapping? Like, what's the trigger for the trap? Is it looking in the mirror? That would be my guess.
It is looking in the mirror. You basically look in the mirror and it sucks you into the mirror. You and everything you're holding.
Right. And anyone presently in there gets pushed out.
Not always.
Okay.
Since you hold more than one.
Yes.
I think I'd probably say the lesser one does that.
Yeah. So yes, definitely only looking at the back of it.
Okay, so the basic one has 12 cells in it.
Right.
And anyone who looks in it gets put into one of the cells.
Yeah. Okay, so asking the locals here, is the mirror available to be investigated? We want to look at the back to see if there's anything on the back we could use as information to further our investigation. We, of course, will be incredibly careful not to look at the front in any way, shape, or form.
They say it should be in the Duke's vault, kept away from people's ability to play with. So they can give you access.
Thank you very much.
Because they didn't want it to be, lost.
Accidentally activated, lost, or anything like that. Yes.
As soon as we understand the fact that the mirror can probably only hold a certain number of people at any one time, Peter G. came in thinking, well, hang on, that shouldn't be hard for this place. We're willing to sacrifice random people once a month for a month every year. Surely they can find a dozen more victims.
Technically, the Klansmen do that every year as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you fly? Look, there's a cliff edge. Show me. Okay, so as you
The
get permission,
respect for life just isn't there.
Or maybe life's cheap in the countryside where vampires and werewolves roam.
No, there is that. We can push vampires into it. That'll get everyone else out.
Well, no, you can't. Because they won't be seen. They won't see their reflection, so they can't get pulled in.
Yeah. On the other hand, if you get a vampire and paint him, they can see the paint, and that is themselves. Maybe that works.
Well, apparently they don't see their clothes in some of the things that you show their reflection, so they probably wouldn't see paint on them either.
True.
Okay, so as you get taken in to see the mirror...
Holy water paint. That'll work.
You want to wear paint?
No. Holy water paint is sprayed on the vampire.
Where it's burnt, they will be seen, I'm sure.
Yes, they can look at the steam.
So they take you into a private vault, which has a what appears to be a mirror wrapped up in fabric.
Mm-hmm. Right. So ask how to determine which side is the one not to look at. By touch, by preference.
Okay, so
make sure it's face down and have a look at the back.
Well, they leave and shut the door and say bang 3 times and give you a password to say Elvengard, and they will let you out. And if you don't bang 3 times and say Elvengard, they'll just assume everyone in here's died.
Or being sucked into the mirror.
That too.
So, yeah.
Same. We check the same effect.
Excellent.
Well, they don't want to risk the town on this.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Okay, so as you examine it, give me a insight roll.
Okay.
Well, Peter carefully looked at the image of himself.
Parody still looks good.
Yeah, shiny bits on the back.
I got an insight of 6 with my +5.
Oh God. Yeah. Mine got to 18, which isn't too bad.
Okay,
which is why I was suggesting that Perry got a good look at himself, apparently, or at least momentarily.
You did, and you even got to see all the runes inscribed across the front mirror.
Then I tilted it away from you before something happened.
You can see he's staring directly into the mirror and nothing happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Look at it from an angle,
so
that my own face does not appear in it. See what I can see looking at the mirror. I'm also going to face away from it and push Parody to one side, just in case it decides to wait 2 minutes and then activate.
Okay, I will give you an Arcana roll.
Okay, can I use history for this one, or does it have to be Arcana?
This one's Arcana.
Okay. Pooh. I'm not half so good at that. Yeah, 11.
Okay, looking at it, this looks like it is a scrying device.
Not a capture device. Have a look at the runes that I could see.
Yep.
Basically on the mirror itself, in through the mirror if there are any. Is this for scrying, then it implies that someone else has been using it as a transport device rather than it being a mirror of life traffic. I want to see if I can determine the difference.
Give me an
or
insight
the distinction by looking at the...
Or maybe it's the idea of the fact that it can look, whoever's on the other side potentially can look through the mirror before deciding whether or not it's worth taking people through.
Exactly. So it's a mirror of scrying that someone is using for other things. That's what I'm looking for. I got a 16.
Got a 16. Looking at it, you do think that this is primarily a scrying device, and that there is a good chance that whoever took this took the wrong mirror. Lady Halia was a diviner first.
Oh, so they've successfully captured her divining tool and left the capturing device in place.
Quite possibly.
Well, it was safer. This mirror was less likely to capture it, so we'll take it. We'll take that one.
No, I think the problem was someone rolled a 1 on their insight to determine which one to take.
Like that could happen.
Have you ever noticed a non-magical person to get the magical thing incorrect?
Yeah, given non-magical people aren't that good at insight most of the time. And in fact, some wizards aren't very good at it either.
But look, this mirror has been kept perfectly safe.
Yeah, the wrong one, badly. Okay, do I know enough to use this as a mirror of scrying myself?
Do you have any scrying spells? You believe this can be used as an enhancement to any existing spell you have?
Right, so it's not a scrying device in itself, it's a scrying booster.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it,
no.
It can be used as material focus or an extension of a spell.
Right. So the best thing I could use it for is use it for comprehend languages so I could understand things better. That's all I could actually use it for. Because that's the closest thing I've got to a divination spell. Actually, no, identify. I can actually see how things work rather than just knowing.
Well, as an elf, you would know that a lot of the Treldaran native magic is based around divination, portents, signs, and so following her people's traditions, this does fit in with the sort of stuff she would learn.
Yeah. I'm going to go and bang on the door 3 times and give the word.
Okay, so the door opens and going, are you sure you're not a fiend?
Yes, I'm not a fiend. I'm not a fiend 3 times.
Okay. He opens the door even though you've only said it twice.
I'm not a fiend, I'm not a fiend, I'm not a fiend. And
I'm a demon!
Okay.
And yes, the room is full of guardsmen at this stage with crossbows that are glowing pointed at the doorway.
Here it is. Okay. I've left the...
Hey, the voices told me to say it.
Yeah. Tell them to shut up.
No, in reference to the fact that his amulet of his necklace of adaptation has been swapped with Dimitri's, so he has a slightly harder time dealing with native Keldara and Specularum now.
Oh, right. Yeah. I've left the mirror uncovered.
No, they say.
That is a mirror of divination, gentlemen.
It's a magic mirror. We confirmed it was magic.
Yes, it's a magic mirror. It's a mirror of divination. It's not a mirror of life trapping.
What's the difference, one of them says?
This one you can actually look at without it sucking you into it.
Are you sure? Mirror magic is dangerous, you know. Bad stuff
I
happens.
hold the mirror up and look at it.
There are gasps of surprise from most people as you look into what they think is an obviously evil and dangerous device.
I then point at the runes around the side and say, these are divination runes. This is used for divining. It is not a mirror of trapping.
They all look at each other and go, we don't know what you're talking about.
Where is the other mirror?
That is the mirror. We've been guarding that mirror the whole time.
No. There are two mirrors.
There can't be two mirrors. We've only been guarding that mirror.
Where did this mirror got taken from?
We recovered it from Verge.
Perhaps we should...
Could you lead us to where you got it from, please?
That's about a week north.
Yes. And the mirror we need is probably still there.
Unguarded.
Oh no, there are guards outside the Lord's building. They've been protecting it ever since we recovered the mirror.
I see.
So people haven't been going into the tower which it was located from?
No one's been going in or out. We've all kept it safe.
Good. We need to get there.
Well, he pulls out a map. One of the guardsmen pulls out a map for you and shows you that you follow the Duke's Road north, and then head off onto the Windrush Road through Raphilion, and then you'll find yourself in Verge just before you reach Threshold.
Right.
Perhaps we should wait a week. Not travel in Vermont.
Yeah. Sigh.
Although, no, it should be safe actually, because the attack's already happened this month, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Right. Yeah.
So, what would you like to do?
Well, we can't do much about investigating the Mirror of Life tracking without being where it is.
I know. It's amusing they got it wrong.
Yeah, maybe they were persuaded to by someone doing tricksy things. Considering it's the sort of thing we'd do if we needed to keep a certain item in a certain location.
Yes, here's the mirror. We wrapped it up for you.
Mm.
Don't ever open it. You never want to look at it. It's dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't break the seal.
Yes. Wasn't it 6 inches bigger in diameter? Oh, we took the backing off it to make it easy to carry. Oh, okay.
Well, wasn't it taller? Oh, we just cut a bit off to make it fit our wrapping.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The big mirror didn't fit on the cart, so we took this one instead.
And we just told everybody it was this.
Wouldn't be the first time I've seen that happen. We took the one we could carry.
Yeah. Still sigh.
Okay, so they're happy to put you up for the night if you wish to, or you could head off during the night.
We'll rest.
So
Definitely rest.
Mm-hmm. So we're actually effectively still at the Watchman's area?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. While we're resting for the night, so Pettidier will inquire as to where would be the best place to buy a decent lock.
Okay, so you've got
If they're willing to sell one of theirs at the moment, that would be great, but otherwise...
They got quite a few places that will sell locks depending on what you're trying to lock up, but the gnomes have the best locks around.
I'm sure they're great. Next options?
Next options.
Why?
Go ahead. They do have a dwarven smith in town who reckons his locks can't be fooled by anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are a couple of Valori armorers who have their own locks that they say are undefeatable by any supernatural entity. They say real silver is used in the construction.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to keep out evil spirits, they're the ones to go for. Though we're sure that they don't really know what they're talking about. And then there are the stock standard Flayatin bolts that we all use on all our doors because, well, they're all standard and we all know how to open them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Pettigrew was kind of hoping there might be some old padlocks around the box house that might be ready to get rid of. But if not, then he's happy that, okay, yep, we'll have to do a bit of a search in the morning. Because Pettigrew is looking for a padlock for Drazel's wagon.
Yeah, it seems like a good idea.
And that comment about the silver, keep the spirits out, I'm thinking, well, that could be valuable. Not so much keep spirits out.
Well, it's to stop people sort of getting lost.
Okay, so you guys get put up for the night by Retmoron. By where is his name? Terranon, he put you up for the night.
Okay, he was the old guy we were just talking to, wasn't he?
He was the old guy, yes, whose son had been the one that went missing.
Yeah.
And he is actually willing to offer you guys a reward if you can return his son and daughter-in-law.
Yes.
Well,
from memory, there is a way to get people out of the magic mirror without pushing somebody else in.
Pettigrew is certainly happy to be attempting this. Obviously, it takes a bit of the wrong direction from what we were planning for, but he's working on the idea of, hey, these are apparently two heroes of the realm, and right now the realm needs more heroes.
Yes.
And he asks if his weapon would suit your needs because he's happy to offer it as payment. He has slain many a mighty beast with it.
What's the weapon he's got?
It is a short sword.
Okay.
It looks very gladiatorial.
Yeah. What's the abilities of your weapon, if you don't mind me asking?
He's got a pointy end and a leather-bound handle.
He says you stab things and they die.
Well, that's always useful. It's when they've got special things that makes it interesting.
Well, you stab special things and they die.
Yes.
Especially.
Shush.
As he pulls it out, you see that the blade looks like it was just forged.
So he's been lying the whole time. He's never done anything with it.
It looks like completely unmarred by any form of combat or deformation.
Which is pretty common for magical weapons.
Not all magical weapons. It doesn't show any wear or tear. Even the hilt itself looks fairly new, though the hilt itself looks weathered. The blade itself looks unmarred.
Oh, okay.
And on it you can see the symbology of Hydra.
Okay.
Up the blade.
Which indicates some level of regrowth or healing of the metal, given the abilities of hydras.
And he says, well, while you're using this, you should be able to keep going when most people fall down.
Ah. Do you have to be wielding the sword for that to be useful, or just wearing it?
I don't know. I was a great swordsman, and I was never killed in battle.
Well, yes, I think you'd have noticed.
But what he also noticed was the fact that he didn't say he never got hit in battle.
There's that.
But apparently his wounds were not as deep as he thought they should have been.
Yeah.
And not as deep as they should have been half an hour later either. Yeah. So Penalty has no interest in the weapon whatsoever.
Well, no, because it's metal.
It's like it's been forged.
Yes. Whereas I use a short sword, but I wouldn't necessarily be using it in combat.
Well, it is.
I'll also.
He says it is an ancestral weapon, and he is happy to give it to those who might fight evil.
Given Tidal is the one who often ends up getting hit most, it might be worthwhile him wielding it.
But he can't really. It's not a monk weapon.
Not a monk weapon.
No.
Well, short swords, actually, there might be.
Don't think so. Could be wrong, but I wouldn't have thought so.
There's one of them that is.
You've got a temple sword.
The kukri is a monk's weapon.
Yeah.
It's a type of weapon.
There's a temple sword, although that might be Pathfinder rather than.
There's one of them that is a monk weapon.
But I would suggest that it would be, even if it was not necessarily something you were ever going to use, unless you were going to try and claim a monetary reward instead.
It is a monk's weapon.
Yeah, it is a monk weapon.
Cool.
As I say, Penalty is happy to be doing the quest simply because he's keen to ensure there are more heroes in the world for when the end of the world comes.
Yeah.
Yep, short swords and any simple melee weapons.
Yeah, simple weapons and short swords, it says.
So, yes, it is technically a monk weapon.
Yes.
Do you want to take up the sword?
Don't I currently have a staff? Or spear or something?
Well,
I thought I had
he didn't say the sword's not necessarily an artifact.
But I could have sworn I had something else.
You're carrying Regency staff, aren't you?
Yeah, but your staff.
One of the other characters.
Your staff is not a magic weapon or anything like that, is it?
No.
No, it's not. Okay, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. It also means you can do unarmed strikes, and use the sword.
Yes, yeah. But I think
Still do flurries.
Well, you can still
only my unarmed strikes
for unarmed strikes.
magical, or is it all of my strikes?
Yeah.
I think it's your unarmed strikes count as magical.
I think that's about right.
Okay,
Sounds
so
right.
holding the sword in your hand, it is perfectly balanced.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, unarmed strikes. Okay. Is it a magical weapon, or is it just a very nicely made weapon?
It's very magical.
Oh, he says it's magical. It served him well in many a conflict. It's a lucky blade.
Why would you part with such a weapon?
If it would return my son to this world, then it is worth the cost.
He's willing to provide the weapon as compensation for those who are willing to go and find his family.
Yes, and if we don't get his son back, you can give the sword back.
As a fellow father, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Would you not like to keep this as a heirloom for your son?
He did not wish it.
Does it wish to be a fighter father?
Maybe you can offer it to him when you get him out.
It's up to you if you wish to offer it to him, but
It's
in
not
the
my
past
sword.
he had taken. Well, he hands it to you.
Okay. What?
but now it's your ancestral sword.
Yeah, but I thought we had to get him out of the mirror first.
He was giving it to you as payment to get his son out of the mirror.
And in the hopes that it may help you in your retrieval of his son.
Yeah, but what if we get stuck in the mirror? Then he gave it for nothing.
Then you'll be in the mirror with his son with the sword.
That's right, you'll be able to give it to your son for it.
This isn't better.
Stuck in it.
I feel like we should get payment afterwards, not before.
Yeah, I know, but this makes it more useful for us.
Yeah, if you say so. I still don't like it.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
I'm going to say, you don't really understand his bargaining technique, are you? No, you can't pay us in advance.
Ida will politely thank him for his use of the sword, but still give the rest of the group a kind of I'm not so sure kind of look.
Give me a history check for title.
So now that, yes, if Parody wasn't so good, he'd be saying, okay, so we're on our way to a Randy, weren't we?
That's 17.
17. Okay, so you do remember from your teaching at the water temple with the monks there.
Yep.
That the air temple uses the symbology of the Hydra.
Ah, okay, so it would be this.
Mm-hmm.
Considering the Thiatans are the pretty much the people of the air.
Okay. And there's a Hydra on this sword?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's like the Thiatans. Go ahead.
You go.
The Thiatans are pretty much people of the fire. The Makai are people of the water. So you've got various people around the world who are element aligned.
Interesting. Okay, so this is an air sword.
Yeah, so it's the first step on your way to becoming the last airbender.
Yes, exactly.
I had this discussion with him at another point. He just wasn't probably hadn't realised that I had things written up to go along that line.
Yes, just wait till you encounter the Fire Nation. Everything went bad when the Fire Nation attacked.
Hey, technically, Galantry is the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you're suggesting that hasn't started.
And in a way, Karamikos, under the previous rule, was a Fire Nation.
Yeah, fair enough.
So the Troldarans were the fire people.
Because we're getting a war between Alphasia and Galantry happening at the moment, so I'm guessing one of those counts is Fire Nation.
Yep, Galantry is the Fire Nation, whereas Alphatia is the Air Nation.
There you go, you see?
Just gets better and better, doesn't it?
But it's okay, because currently we're kind of on the side of Galantry. Sort of, ish.
Maybe.
You'll see. I'm sure you'll make a choice at some point.
We're thinking about it heavily.
It's made the fact that Galantry is a lot more local, so if we're going to pick a side, then either you pick the side that's local, or you specifically don't pick Galantry because you know they're bad. You haven't done with the film to find out.
Might need to spend some time there and figure that one out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not like they give Disney curses or anything.
Yeah. Probably there's some opera going around.
Okay, so yes, you've been given the sword, and the sword does feel light and fluid.
Okay. What does it do?
You don't know, and he doesn't describe it.
Okay. How mysterious. Luckily, I'm trained in short sword.
You are.
Right.
So, what are we doing? Are we whacking the mirror with it? What are we doing?
You want to whack the divinating mirror with it?
No, I don't. I'm asking the team what do I do with it.
I believe we are enjoying a night's rest after what turned out to be quite a rather long day, since I think we arrived at the way station about time for resting time. So, and then travelled another half day's worth.
Yeah, so you get yourself a night's rest.
That would be nice.
Sorry, just trying to stop this camera from continually moving. There we go. I think I managed to actually hold it in place.
Stuff.
Well, I bumped the cable and then it decided it wanted to keep moving. So, you get yourself a night's rest.
Yeah.
And does this mean that Tidal wants to attune to the sword?
I
Of course he does.
I don't believe I have any of their attunements currently, so I think so. Yes.
Tidal doesn't have many makes weapons, or make guidance, doesn't he?
What, sorry?
Tidal doesn't have many makes guidance, doesn't he?
No, the magical items I did have, I donated to. Well, not donated. I kept them in a vault with the dragons for my daughter whenever she turns up.
Okay.
So he technically donated them to a descendant.
Yeah.
Good mentality.
I will attune to this weapon of awesomeness.
A weapon of
Hail
pokiness.
Hydra! What, sorry?
Weapon of pokiness. He said that's what did it. Poking the enemies.
So I'll start working for Hydra soon. It'll be fine.
Hey, when you cut off one head, another one appears.
Exactly.
Hail Hydra.
Exactly. That's how it works, right?
So attuning to it, it is a +2 short sword.
+2 short sword.
Mm.
That's a powerful weapon.
It is. Whoops, wrong page. Where did I put the other sheet? There.
And as long as you have the blade out, you have regenerate 2, and any creature you strike does not benefit from regeneration or healing.
Or healing.
Or
Wow.
they're basically
That's not fast healing. Okay. Any self-regenerative effects are
So
interesting.
brilliant. So brilliant on all, say, vampires and werewolves
So,
Well, and hydras.
so if they pop
and hydra.
a potion, it does nothing.
if
Potion probably still work. Like
Oh,
actually
okay.
healing makes would work. It's just things like fast healing and regeneration, like the innate abilities.
Could you
Right.
actually
would be the
turn
things.
your Could you actually turn your voice down, please? You totally and utterly overpower everything when you talk.
Maybe as soon as I work out how to do it.
there are no audio settings, so what happens is if you hit someone with it who has regeneration, you pretty much take regeneration out until they have a short rest.
Right. Okay.
If you
So-
critically hit someone with it, magical healing doesn't work on them.
If I walk them with it,
Critically hit someone with
I'll
it.
critically hit. So
Nice.
crit means healing in general doesn't work.
Magical healing doesn't work.
On magical healing.
And things like regeneration don't work until he has a rest. So it's not even just that round.
And
It's just not there anymore.
and for those people, it lasts until the next full moon.
Yeah.
Change it now.
Very nice, very nice.
Mm.
I wanted to get rid of it. He thought, oh, this weapon
What is?
does not look
I will
good.
ask. Crap. What's his name?
Terranon.
Terranon.
The old
What the
Terranon?
name of the sword is? Or what he's called it. Maybe, if he doesn't know.
He proudly calls it Terranon sword.
Okay.
Cool. I'm gonna make a note to ask my god later what this sword is called.
It was the name of his father and his father before him.
Lovely. I'm still gonna ask my god later.
Is that a
Terranon.
better volume for my microphone?
That is a better volume for your microphone.
That's a much better one. Thank you.
You could have mentioned it a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to remember to say these things sometimes, and then we get caught up in the game and forget. So it turns out that whoever in the family wields the sword generally gets called Terranon.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
It's the name of the wielder of the sword.
Okay.
So you might find yourself being called Terranon at some point.
Great.
Well, that's okay. I'm sure you won't look like him at any point.
Well, I mean, it only makes sense. The sword is called Terranon sword. Obviously, you must be Terranon.
Yes, because that's Tartarus spelt backwards. Obviously.
We should have thought of that one. That would have been even better.
I don't know what to say to that one.
Yeah, but it can't before or after you go through the mirror.
We'll find out. I don't know, the mirror might cause me to change my name to Terranon or something. Or Bob.
No, it's just everybody knows that Terranon looks like you.
Personally, I'd prefer you to turn the terror off.
No.
Yes, that's where I stare at the sword asking, where's the safety?
Okay, so you're being told that Verge has a population of about 50.
What does the mirror?
So
The town.
Oh, the town.
That's not a town, it's a hamlet.
It used to have more, remember?
By the definition of
it's got-
Immortals too.
It's got 50 people left.
Yes.
Right. Brilliance. At least there won't be any shortage of places to stay.
They recommend the tower. They hear it's good at night.
Yeah.
Great views.
Warm and touchy.
Definitely great views. Yes, so let's be going that way.
Yes.
Well, as I said, I would like to get hold of a lock before we leave.
Yep, that's fair enough.
Okay, so where do you wish to
I'm
go for your
I'm
lock?
happy if someone else wants to go out and say, yep, talking to Draggle.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You need a lock on that trailer.
Yes.
He looks at you and says, "It will open when it opens. Lock make no difference." He tried.
Oh. Oh dear.
Even used warding spell. Warding spell failed.
Oh. So why do you have that wagon?
Horse protector, keep people away.
Apparently not well enough.
Yeah,
Only bad people go inside.
Yeah, two of those guard scouts disappeared into it, apparently.
They were bad people then.
That's not necessarily equated.
I can't
No.
enter.
And whose definition of bad?
God's definition of bad. Diamond knows all.
Right.
I can't enter.
Okay.
I tried. I'm curious.
Aha. So only those people who are deserving of the fate they're about to meet can get in to meet the fate.
Yes, need learning. Get instruction.
Right. So, yeah, we're not going to experiment. Just for a start there. Because we're not paladins.
Okay, so if Peridot wasn't so faithful, he might be starting to think that, so if the witch doesn't drown, there must be a witch.
Right. It might be, yeah.
If they float,
Yeah.
they're a witch. If they don't float, they drown. Obviously not a witch if they die.
Right.
That's right.
So we killed them.
have to. So we weigh them against a duck.
So, but yes, I say the concept of yes, this contraption makes the decisions of the worth of people.
Yeah.
Okay, Peridot is still keen to get a lock, at least for the look of the thing.
Yes. And of course, if you go and buy a lock, it's going to be right 1 silver for a lock, and 1 gold for its key, and 2 gold for a spare.
Hey,
Say,
personally, Perry, you'd be happy to just buy the lock.
Yeah, but the key means you can reuse it.
Okay, so
Hey.
you have a lock. You
Yep.
get to the wagon and realize that while there is a bolt on the door, there is nowhere to actually put a padlock through. But you've got a padlock.
We do have a padlock.
Cat was doing weird stuff.
We could just hang it off the bolts, just to discern people to not go near it. It's like, oh, it looks like it's locked, but it's not really.
Oh.
Or at least so we can then say, look, there was a lock on the door. Shouldn't have opened it. Because that's how it works. Apparently.
Okay, good.
No. He also says, look, door, opens door, hits the blackness. You see this ripple around where he hits the door. Hits the blackness. Can't get through. Annoying. Shuts door again.
What do you mean you can't get through?
Opens door. Hits the blackness. You see the ripple around where he hits it again. He puts his hand. You can basically see him scratch his fingers down the wall.
We're I'm assuming we're outside currently.
At his wagon where he's trying to put the lock on.
Is there like a rock
Right.
nearby?
It's just.
I want to see if the rock goes into the portal.
Can we
thingy.
not do this in the middle of Specularum?
Oh, okay. Let's not do this. I will sate my curiosity for now.
Dredgel shouts and puts the bolt across on the door.
Put what?
Puts the bolt across on the door.
Oh, yeah.
He's happy.
And yes, we'll hang the lock off the bolt.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start heading north.
Yep.
It takes you 7 days to reach Verge.
So we go past the lovely Kretsky Keep again.
And you get to stop by this bonfire that used to be the campsite, the guard post, as they're burning everything.
Oh, right. Okay. So all the corpses and all the... Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They raise it and start again.
Lovely.
And we get to wave at Kelvin, who we go past on the other side of the river.
You do. As you get to start heading up into the mountains, because Verge is quite a few thousand, about 1,000 feet above where Kelvin is. So you're sort of sneaking up a hill into the mountains, and Threshold is even higher up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not sure if they have height, but I think there's it's a huge mountain nearby. So you are literally going up a steep ravine.
Yeah.
So it might be
Steeply.
So it might be 25 or 15,000 feet mountain peak. So yeah, it goes up quite tall nearby. Okay, so reaching Verge, there is an encampment of soldiers on the outskirts of Verge. There's probably about 20 or so soldiers here.
Okay.
They go, well met, travellers. Where are you headed to?
We understand. We've been requested by the father of 2 heroes of this town, Lady Halia and Lord Retramon.
Yep.
To investigate their disappearance.
Oh, we took the mirror into Specularum. That should be where you should investigate, shouldn't you? We're just protecting their interests until they come back.
Indeed. But we thought we should actually investigate the site of the location as well.
Yes.
We have already looked at the mirror itself.
Brave adventures you must be, because the last people who looked in it disappeared. And we made a great show of not having a good look at the mirror when it was brought out, because it was, well and truly covered up, and no one's been into the place since.
And that's a fortunate thing, I'm sure. So we understand the mirror is well guarded, more protected now, and we're just trying to see if we can ascertain exactly what occurred before the events of the mirror.
Yes, and thank you for making sure there was no unfortunate looting.
I'm sure there is still something moving about in that tower. I don't believe everything was removed from it. There is still some sort of malevolence there.
Yes.
The place gives me the creeps, which is we used to guard it from the base of the tower, now we guard it from the outskirts of town. We can see the tower, no one can get to the tower, but we're not even going to be in town with that damn tower.
Are there many of the townsfolk still left in town?
Yeah, most of them are deciding that it's time to do their spring travel, even though most of us don't travel in springtime, but they've decided that now's a good time to visit their friends in Threshold or Kelvin. Or even Raphilion. Someone will go, let's go see the elves. I'm sure it's safer there.
Yeah.
So I think there's about 5 people in Verge right now.
Oh dear.
Right. So let's go up there and double the population.
Well, it would appear then that Verge is definitely in need of its heroes, so we shall see if we can return them to you.
That would be fantastic. But aren't you going the wrong way then, if they're in Speculum?
Again, it's part of the process of trying to ascertain exactly what happened. If there's a malevolence still in the tower, that may be a clue as to exactly where they've gone to through the mirror.
He looks at you and goes, do you know any wizards at all? Because all we really need is a wizard. There was this young kid, Dimitri, who seemed to know this magic stuff. We've been trying to reach him, but he seems to be out of touch right now.
Okay, well, we'll see what we can find out.
If you are no local, I would not know of the such local experts.
Yes, he went off fighting someone else's war elsewhere, as far as we know. So we're a bit annoyed that when we need him the most, he's not here.
We'll see.
In fact, actually, Dimitri got where are we? 18. What's his intelligence? Yep. So 19 on intelligence. To think, hang on, I think I vaguely remember hearing stories about Dimitri. Wasn't he up fighting with the Karamikan army up at the king up to the northeast of here?
He was, but he went off earlier this year on a boat to Alphatia.
Well, I'm sure he had important business.
Well, we haven't heard anything since, so we all fear the worst. He was a good lad, even if he was Traldaran. Well,
obviously,
the superior sort of people.
So, obviously, if Peregrine did know Dimitri and all, he would have said, but I hear he was just a scribe, wasn't he?
Yeah.
A scribe is as close to a wizard as these guys need to be calling someone a wizard.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. But I'm not going to say,
given
can't imagine he can do anything.
He knows these letters. He must be a wizard.
Yeah. Well, Karamikos is a bit weird.
He does summon writing. That's a strange person. Okay, so I believe they even gave me a map of this place, which is amusing. Just got to figure out where that map is. Just like, yes, refer to map.
Yeah, map thing.
Okay, so That appears to be what the place looks like from the outside.
Okay. Just
So,
a basic defensive
Stefan,
tower.
you can see that there as well.
Oh, interesting.
Which is amusing considering up until this book they didn't have a place like that there. They were living
I
in
was
a
going to
house.
say, that certainly seems a lot bigger and more impressive than anything I ever pictured in Verge.
Yeah.
It is the most impressive thing of Verge as far as I can tell.
Well,
Well,
what's even more
yeah.
impressive, of course, is that when Dimitri does go back there in about a year's time, it's all just burnt out rubble, isn't it?
That is technically correct.
Yeah.
Now, come on, map. I have a map here somewhere. So okay, it's not like I have too many pages to go through. It is a 54-page document. Okay. So yes, it is quite extensive. So they basically have a player map of the area. So obviously it's supposed to be there for a while, but whatever you do destroys the tower. So yay! Foreshadowing.
Hey, it wasn't me.
Can you actually get into the tower before you destroy it? If the answer is some poor bastard made a map for no reason.
Apparently it's destroyed a year later from now. A year from now it's destroyed. Nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Because let's face it, we haven't got a dwarven samurai with us, so I'm sure it'll be safe.
Yes.
Okay, so the fortress is a very small citadel. It would have been called a castle in times before castles became enormous all-stone constructions. This fortress is a large tower on a hillside. The tower is surrounded by wooden walls, which is itself surrounded by a dry moat. The moat is 6 foot deep all around. At the gate, a drawbridge can be lowered to allow entry. The drawbridge is now down and has been since the night of the attack. The fortress walls are 20-foot high wooden palisades with a catwalk on the top and ladders up every 30 foot. And there are small wooden towers on the 4 corners. Within the walls, in addition to the tower, are the stables due east of the tower, and the well immediately in front of the tower. The stables ordinarily hold a dozen horses, but they're currently empty. And the well is a deep shaft sunk into the earth, about 6 foot wide, 60 feet deep, and lined with brick.
Okay.
Which has over it a winch and a bucket.
It's on a hilltop. I'm not surprised it's 60 feet deep.
So coming in towards the tower, do we see any other locals?
You can see that there is an inn with a familiar-looking red-haired halfling waving.
Hi.
She was
the.
you met her serving you while you were at the inn in Kelvin.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So we're not talking the halfling cook.
No, you're talking his sister.
No, there's a different redhead that I've heard that we're trying to, not we're trying to avoid, but different groups are avoiding.
Not this one.
Probably different game, man.
Probably different game.
Wednesday groups are waiting.
Is it Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday groups are waiting. Bradshaw specifically.
That's right. Yes.
That's right. It's Bradshaw's bride.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
She walks up to you guys and says, "So you made it this far? I thought you were heading towards the capital."
Ooh, sidetracked.
Yeah. Well, my brother was heading with you, but he showed up here.
Oh.
Yeah. Didn't you notice he left?
I'll look to the other guys.
Well, the cook had been travelling with you down to Speculum, but last time you saw him, it was when you were heading towards the murder scene.
Wait, he's dead?
Yeah.
No, he left. He
Oh,
said.
he left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He has a habit of being blamed for dead bodies.
it was more the idea that he actually left us about 2 hours before we arrived at the murder site.
Oh, well, that's fine then. I think.
And we arrived while the bodies were still fresh.
Well, I don't think it was him.
How could a halfling be a vampire? That would never happen.
No, not at all.
No, but if the halfling... If the halfling's not a vampire, it explains why there's so much blood still around.
Well, out of character, if there was anyone capable of doing that many people, he'd be the one to do it. But...
Right. Oh dear.
But admittedly, he probably couldn't lay the illusion afterwards.
No.
Probably.
You've never seen him use magic.
Exactly.
Though he could be an arcane trickster.
Oh, they're amazing. In bad ways.
Yes, very bad ways.
But basically, yes, Pettidier was hoping to talk to one of the locals who have potentially seen the recent changes in this tower. So I'm trying to remember. So what was how long has it been since Harley and Reclamine got pulled into the mirror?
I would say probably about 3 weeks to a month.
Yeah. So just the idea of he was hoping to talk to a local to see if there was any more information about this malevolence apparently in the tower. So.
Well,
I'm not certain whether this redhead halfling is going to count in that frame. She wasn't in this location a month ago.
Yeah.
Well, she says, or she tells you that she and her kin are the only ones who have left in the city. They're here to protect everyone else's interests.
Well, that's fair enough. And sell them back afterwards.
Generous of you, indeed.
Well, whatever they don't need, they won't miss.
Yeah.
But at least no one will have destroyed their town in the meantime, they say.
Right.
So is there anything in particular you're wanting to talk to about it? I do have a couple of other halfling servers who have been here their entire time.
Well, as I say, I was just the guards outside, the guards on the edge of town mentioned that they had started near the tower, but have progressively moved further away, and they spoke of a malevolence within the tower, but did not give any further information or details. I was thinking if people who are nearby, where they may have seen movement or heard noises, anything like that.
Well, they do hear noises late at night, sort of like an evil sort of laughter. So.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or that sort of thing too.
Or I am your father, Luke.
And occasionally.
Yeah.
What about meow? Meow?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do have freaky child. Does that help? Or
Yes.
that's enough to keep you freaky for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Helps having all those different buttons to push. Okay, so they are happy to set you up for the night because, boy, you hear all the freaky stuff at night and it amuses them.
Yeah.
They have a drinking game for the different sounds they can hear.
Oh, good. Okay. Peridil will go for spending much of the evening outside of the tavern so he could actually look at the tower and see if there's any sights at the same time as sound.
Okay, so the tower is itself about 50 foot tall and constructed of ashlar with a few narrow barred windows on the upper floors. So it's basically blocks of stone set up with covering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so looking at it, at night it does have a bizarre inner glow to it that
Yeah.
you're sure that with low light vision you could quite easily see throughout the entire place.
Good.
But
Good,
most humans who don't have low light vision would basically find it hard and difficult to move around. It should be dim light.
So,
That's right. Effectively, it's creating additional shadows rather than actually lighting the darkness. It's just highlighting the shadows.
Very much so.
Putting out multiple candles is probably worth doing.
When there's no single light source, you can see the entire place just seems to light up with that dim glow.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But I'll have a look and go, interesting. But my friends need to see. So I'll pick up something small like a stone or something and cast continual light on it so they've got full light.
Mm-hmm. Does that have material components required?
A stone.
Yes, something to cast it.
That's okay. Some of the older continual light spells was expensive.
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't necessarily
During one version, continual light was basically permanent and cost you 50 GP to cast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you could buy continual torches.
Yes.
At the cost of the spell, effectively.
So now you're just casting a light spell.
Because it was just on a stick.
Page 255. Components is a firefly or phosphorescent moss.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and all I need is a pinch of some phosphorescent moss that I got some time ago. It's the same thing with all material
You bought
components.
from where?
As long as he's got a spell component pouch, he assumes would be refreshing it when he goes into a town.
Assuming anything less than a gold worth or something.
Unless, and this is from 3.5, actually 3.0 did this, and it was also done earlier. If it has a listed GP value, you have to actually buy it separately.
That's right. Yeah.
If it doesn't, if you've got a spell component pouch, you've got your stuff.
Yep, and it assumes that you always refresh it.
Yes.
Or you get one of the magical spell component pouches, which then allows you to do other stuff.
Mm.
Yep.
And yes, I do have those. Okay, so as you're watching the place, you do think that whatever's in there seems to be moving around during the night, but not during the day.
Yep.
Mm.
So did you want to head in there at night with your light source, or?
Do we want to go in straight away? I think so.
Hey, if you put light on my short sword, it can be a lightsaber.
Yes, it can. It's really shiny. I put continual light on his sword and let him wave it around.
Okay.
I guess I asked for this.
You start making the vroom sounds?
I'd like to,
vroom.
but it wouldn't make sense in character. Out of character makes perfect sense.
Well, you can do the whoosh sound because it is an air sword. Whoosh.
Whoosh.
Yeah.
That just sounds like doors.
Actually, it's an air sword. It may actually hum going through the air.
I don't know. Sword sound like the doors on Voyager sounds about right.
Mm.
Whoosh.
Well, some guy standing next to you going whoosh,
Yes.
while secretly moving the thing around for you.
So what's the gnome for? He's my washer.
Well, it's better than my clapper.
Yeah.
What does your clapper do? Well, he just claps two coconuts together, pretend I'm riding a horse.
He allows me to ring a bell.
Okay, so yes, you get yourself ready in head. How would you like to enter the tower? You have many ways of entry, mostly through the front door.
Right, so 3 or 4 methods through the front door. Okay.
Through the window?
Yeah. And climb in from the top. I've done that with towers.
We've done that before.
And teleportation.
Yeah, I'm not good with that.
And flight. And grappling. And falling off the tower, which people are good at too.
Yes.
Let's not do that.
We could climb to the first window or something.
Hmm.
And all the windows have bars across them.
We could not climb to the first window.
But they're good to grab hooks onto and then use them to get you up higher.
What, onto the roof?
Yeah. I'm sure that won't be any harder to get into than the front door.
Yeah.
This room in the front door is also open.
You take the secret passageway down the well.
Yes, actually that's worth a look too.
You look down the well?
Well, okay.
He's right there.
I had actually trying to say it for a little while, then realised I was on mute. Penity was planning on doing a circuit of the tower, just to have a look around all sides of it and go through and see if there are any sally ports or anything like that as to other options to get into the tower with.
Okay, so is that inside the compound or outside the compound?
No, outside the compound. Like
okay, in which case then there's only one entrance into the compound across the drawbridge.
And there's no gap in the wall itself, like in the external fence line.
Not yet. I'm sure you'll create one at some point soon.
And yeah, at the tower itself, obviously, yeah. So there are some windows or only arrow slits further up the tower. Is that?
There are arrow slits up the tower until you get higher up for windows. And there are pretty along the top of the wall are the arrow slits allowing people to fire off the top of the wall without being shot at easily.
Yep.
Just a nice defensible spot for any time orcs or goblins try to invade.
Yeah.
Yes. I need to get flight at some point. I do. I do.
Well, are we going to the front door? Are we going to try and climb into the roof? Or, well, there is no front door apparently. Are we walking into the keep? Or?
Well, we're walking into the compound. There are then multiple ways to get into the keep itself.
Yep.
So we'll walk across the drawbridge.
And the drawbridge is nice and sturdy. It doesn't even creak as you walk across it.
Good one. Yep. Hold on a moment.
So do you want Drazzle to travel with you?
Yes, we always take the Drazzle.
I don't know. Penity is thinking that, hang on, maybe we should leave the Drazzle to guard the wagon. To ensure it doesn't make any other additional choices.
Drazzle has horse to guard wagon. Only lets bad people through.
And I can need Drazzle here. He's my support companion.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought one of the dogs was doing something naughty.
So we're going through the front door?
Yep. Well, unless there's a good reason to go a different way in. If there might be traps, the front door might be a bad thing to go for. However, if there's anything on the windows, they're probably going to be more lethal than anything on the front door.
Well, and I'm assuming that is the front door open at the moment?
The front door is still open.
Yeah. So if it was trapped, presumably the traps have been activated by the people who were going in and out of the night. And when they took the mirror out and stuff. So
true.
Okay, so as you go into the compound, you can see the well in the stable. Do you want Drazzle to wait for you on the other side of the drawbridge, or in the stable area, or near the well?
Is he not coming with us?
I thought you were just saying he wasn't. I thought you were having him. Isn't that what?
No, I think the group wants him not to come with us. Tyler would prefer he comes with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Penedier has his doubts about Drazel's appropriateness in the party at this stage, but he also still recognises that technically he's Title's follower, so Title has the choice.
Technically I don't have a choice, because I found out in character that if Drazel dies, I die. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'd rather have him closer to me than away from me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because that's a slight hitch in any plan. Because if I'm busy, adventuring and Drazel suddenly offsets somewhere and I drop dead, that's going to be slightly awkward.
Yes. Be a bugger if we just worked something out for a tactic.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, personally, I'd prefer...
Well, at least if the wagon's been brought into the stable area, there's probably no one going to be trying to break in unexpectedly in this tower.
Yeah.
Yes.
He sets
or in the wagon while it's there.
He unhitches his horse and lets his horse protect the wagon.
Hmm.
I think that's going to be a well-protected wagon.
Yeah.
Penedier's still not entirely certain that's better.
You know what we should do? We can't put a lock on the wagon, but we can nickname the horse as the lock. I need to go check on the lock on the wagon.
Yeah.
Okay,
then you've got a horse wondering why it's being called Lake.
Drazel pulls out his 2 axes.
Right. Subtle. But entirely valid.
Alright, well, I will pull out my Hydra short sword of Hail Hydra.
Of being cool. Well, you're holding it as a light source at the moment anyway, so...
This is true.
Yes.
Well, out of character going zoom, zoom, zoom. This might not even be fruitful at all, but I would like to approach the well with Drazel.
Hmm? Drazel follows along happily, singing a show tune that you've heard recently.
Right.
Something about Let It Go.
Yeah, I've heard that's the one going around. Apparently it's a famous one, or at least popular.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to tie a rope to myself and then give Drazel the other end, and I'm gonna go for a quick swim in the well to see if it leads anywhere.
Okay.
Drazel looks in and goes, "It leads down."
Thank you, Drazel.
Thank you, Drazel.
I will give him a smile and a nod and ask him to hold on to the end of the rope.
He says, "Sure."
Alright. Here goes nothing. Do I roll for this?
Yep, you jump into the water.
Yep.
It's only 60 feet down to the water.
Down to the bottom?
To the water.
We knew it was 60 feet down. We'd lower him down.
I hope so.
Well, he can be lowered down, and then at about 45 feet he stops.
Oh, I'm still not in the water. This is awkward.
Drazel calls out, "Still hanging on."
Do we let you down further or bring you up?
Probably bring me up.
Do you want more rope?
I think my rope is only 50, and if this is 60, there's a slight math problem here.
Plus the 5 feet
so
to tie you.
do you want more rope?
Yeah, I need to come back up, get another rope, and hopefully,
That's right. We'll just tie the rope at this end, and we can continue to lower you down as long as Drazel's willing to let go his end of the rope and continue holding the rope as it continues through.
He said no, he promised Tidal he not let go of rope.
This is why I should probably try and ask him to pull me back up first, then we tie the rope, then we try it again.
Hold on.
Drazel is very loyal.
Hold on.
To a fault.
We knew it was 60 feet down. We would not have used 150-foot length of rope for this.
Correction. You knew. Too. I did not. Because I missed that bit.
Yes. Yes, well, the other people involved in doing this would have made sure there were 2 lengths of rope being used.
Well,
and you'd have gone, why? And went,
I'm
okay.
happy to have this conversation, but not while I'm hanging in a well at 50 feet.
He specifically took Drazzle
point
ahead of you to do so?
Yes. So I turn up with a second length of rope going, that should be 2. You're going to have to bring him up so we can tie it on and put it back down again.
Yep, I will ask Drazzle to bring me back up, please.
Okay, Drazzle just starts walking away, pulling you up that way.
Okay. So, back up.
Yep, and Drazzle's about, 40 feet that way.
Oh, is that how he's doing it? He's actually walking.
He's just walking straight away.
Yep,
Because
okay.
you told him not to let go of the end of the rope.
This is both smart and terrible at the same time.
Yes,
This is very Drazzle. I'm just glad there was 40 feet in the other direction to walk. Okay, I will then walk over to Drazzle and thank him for...
The question is there 80 feet in the other direction to walk when you attack another bit of rope?
He can if he continues across the drawbridge.
Goes outside the drawbridge.
Yep.
Or we can run it around the keep and use it as a pulley system.
Well, then the rope's not long enough. You'll stop at the 45-foot mark again.
Yeah, no.
We shall tie ropes together and lower you back down again.
Alright, this sounds good. Yep, that sounds good. Alright, so, second try.
Attempt number 2.
Yep.
You reach the water.
Alright,
It's wet.
thank you.
It's cold.
I'm a water genasi, this shouldn't bother me.
Yeah, and
It's black and murky and polluted.
That
And
bothers me.
it's also to be expected.
It's icy. It is basically mountain cold.
Ooh, nice.
Oh,
It's refreshing.
yeah.
Is it pure spring water? Or pure...
Well, technically that's what spring water is.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Water from my aquifer.
Is it... What's the word I'm looking for?
H2O.
Yeah, no.
Liquid gold.
Well, 2OH is very different, so... Is...
Rather unstable.
What was I going to say?
I don't know. What were you going to say?
Not palatable. Is it drinkable?
Anything's drinkable
Okay.
if you liquidize it.
Is it... What's the word I'm
Is
looking
it
for?
safe?
Yes. Is it safe to drink?
Do you want to try and find out?
Yes.
Okay, you try it. You swallow. You might have to wait a little while and find out.
Okay, I'm just going to, for now, consider it okay. I would like to dive deeper into the water of coldness.
Okay. You dive beneath the surface.
Yep.
It's all nice and tingly. So do you have any cold resistances?
I thought it was a water nausea. Oh.
You
Water
come,
resistance, not cold resistance.
you come from the
Warm
tropic
waters.
waters.
Yeah, not cold
And
waters.
here you are diving into icy water.
Well, shit. Constitution roll,
Invigorating.
anyone? Looks like I'm rolling for Constitution.
Let's make a constitution check.
I don't think invigorating is the word he's using right now.
It's more like
I
shit,
think it's
shit,
more
shit,
sort
shit,
of-
shit.
Oh my freduglets.
It's not too bad, actually.
Where have my body parts gone?
That's actually one of the few things I'm semi-decent at. That is
Oh,
a 21.
Okay, you're managing to keep the cold at bay, but you can sort of see your fingertips looking a little bluer than normal.
Hmm.
Apparently, this water is showing your inner blue.
Mm-hmm.
Dabba dee dabba die. How far down is this thing going?
You can't see the end.
Oh.
You're basically you think if you go much further down, you'll actually you could feel a bit of a current.
Current.
Um,
So this goes to an underground stream.
would I be able to... This might sound a bit far-fetched, but knowing the direction I kind of went down in, would I be able to guess which way the stream is facing, or the current's facing?
The current is facing towards the river.
Towards the... Is that away from the keep thing?
Yep.
Or okay, all right. I'll pull on the rope thing.
Okay.
And hope that means pull me up.
Did you arrange any signals?
Nope.
Well, no,
I'm hoping this is
pulling
an
on
adventurous
things-
code thing we're going on.
Okay, he's attempting to give us a signal. We'll pull him up and find out what he wants.
Yep.
All
If he
right.
then says, how about this for a set of signals, we'll go with that.
That sounds like a plan.
That works well.
Should have planned that beforehand, but I'm glad we're working it out.
Okay, so you see a completely different Genasi pop out of the water.
Why?
What colour am I?
Who are you?
He is extremely blue coloured.
Cold down there.
Yep. It's freezing. I
That
suspect.
explains why you're a different colour to normal.
Yes, I suspect it has something to do with a natural spring leading to a current, possibly maybe underground river or something, and it's roughly
cool.
heading. And I'll point roughly in the direction I think it's heading.
Towards the Windrush River, which
Yep.
is the main water source heading down.
So my guess is it probably won't lead to under the keep unless there's some secret thing down there. But it's cold, so I wouldn't recommend going that way.
Right.
Now, if you
Fair
excuse
enough.
me, I'm gonna go ask if Jazzle has any blankets.
Mm-hmm.
Just inside the back of the cart there, you can jump in.
Yes. Why don't I open the door and go get a blanket? Sure, because that'll go down well.
That's okay. You've got a backup, don't you?
You know?
I will get. Do we have any blankets on the carriage? Not in the back. In the supplies thing. Did we have supplies on the front of the carriage or something? Maybe
We
not.
put something on there, I think.
I thought we did.
Drizzle has his box of all the stuff he looted from all the dead people.
There you go.
Okay, what's in that collection?
That should include blankets.
He shakes out a cloak and gives it to you.
What's on this cloak?
It's the cloak of protection.
Pedadir will offer you a blanket if you want one.
You can do a couple of cloaks, but that
Is
cloak
this
of protection will be
Drazzle's
useful
cloak of
anyway.
protection or a cloak of protection? Because these are very specific things. And knowing
I
things that
think it's
Drazzle's given out in
A.
the past, like, I already owe my life to Drazzle. I don't want to owe my soul to Drazzle as well.
No, you don't owe your soul to Drazzle. He owns it.
Just ask him.
But Pedadir has a blanket if you want one.
Okay, so that was the one that Pebbles had bought.
Ah. It was taken off Pebbles when Pebbles died.
Right, yep.
So it's still looted from the dead, just not this lot.
Yeah. I mean, I guess? But wouldn't that auto-tune?
No.
No.
Not
Only-
most items don't auto-tune.
Yeah, only the
Oh, the artifacts.
only artifacts auto tune.
Okay, I
Or
guess.
cursed.
I guess
Can't
I
think,
will
really.
wear the cloak of Drazzle protection, and I will also accept the offer of a blanket from Pedadir, and I'll go sit somewhere and warm myself up, as you all get to enjoy the sight of a shivering, cold water genasi.
Do you want to go back to the tavern?
No, I'll be fine here. You guys keep going, and I'll catch up with you in about 10 minutes
Mm-hmm.
after I warm up.
Yep.
Drizzle's breath freezes things. Drizzle not want to freeze you.
But are your hugs warm?
Sure, he gives you a hug.
Cool, this works. I have a Drazzle. It's fine.
That works.
He's more than happy to hug anyone.
Well, Pedadir will then do a circuit of the tower inside the compound and just have a good look at what's around and what's in there. So,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, while doing so, there is nothing out on the outskirts of the tower. Just the stables, which are empty, has a bit of blood splatter nearby. But that's all
Okay.
dried and looked like it was about a month old.
Bit old.
Okay.
Right.
And you did hear that there was a creature that got loose and attacked things.
Oh, right.
Did we find any information about that creature?
No
We
one.
saw the picture, didn't we? The baboony type creature.
Oh, that thing. Okay, yep. Right.
That's the thing that they said was came out and killed things, and the second one came out
there were two of them.
Yeah.
Basically, anytime someone went in, one of them came out.
Yep. Lady Harley destroyed the first one, and when she went in, another one came out, which is what wiped out most of the people.
Because Lady Harley wasn't there to destroy it.
Yeah.
And apparently that one was never destroyed.
Yeah. Until a certain pair of halflings arrived in town.
Well, they never went in the keep.
No, but it's the creature. Oh, so the creature was never destroyed, and presumably was still in the keep.
Yes.
Is that what they're saying? They didn't. They managed to contain the creature.
Yep.
So when the guard was saying, "Oh, I think there's some sort of malevolent force in there," he could have mentioned, "Oh, yeah, it might be the creature we saw come out of the mirror."
Well, he wasn't the one that saw it.
Sorry?
The ones that saw it went back to Speculum. So the guards here never went inside the building. They were told to guard the outside.
But were they not told anything about the events on the inside?
Oh yeah, but that's magic stuff, and most of them think of that as the nightmarish, shouldn't really believe in it things.
Until they're standing outside and feeling a malevolent presence of something in the tower.
Which is why they then moved to the outskirts of town instead of being close to it.
Yeah, but it means they might have paid more attention to what were those tales they said before they left?
The comment might have been, maybe we should have paid more attention.
Some monstrous thingy coming out of the mirror and was never destroyed?
Or did it just go back in?
No one knows.
Because
Because apparently the mirror left.
It went for walkies.
Yeah,
It was carried up and taken out by the guards.
Maybe.
Of course it was.
Yep.
So, I'm actually a bit tired at the moment. Would you guys be
I
okay
was
if we...
about to say that, hang on,
It's a good
probably,
bit of
before we enter the tower, might be a good time to wait for reinforcements next fortnight.
Yeah, hopefully I'll get a few more people to help out. Might be a good time to have an excursion.
And your tank is currently warming themselves up, so...
Exactly.
It's kind of hard to do flashy maneuvers with your face on the floor, but, when you're cold.
Yes.
You're told you do strange things.
But think how effectively you'll be able to do that slide under their knees when you're an icicle.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
could be a spicy icicle, though.
And look, if your weapons are frozen to your hands, you can't be disarmed.
True.
That's right.
I'm a better floor tank than I am a tank, so...
And you'll get an extra 1 point of cold damage with your weapon.
Yes, and to myself every turn.
No, you do D6 to yourself.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay then, but yeah. I'm happy enough to leave it there for the evening.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
That sounds good. And thank you very much for playing. And look, you got a bit further into the lore, and Jeremy's going to go with his Wednesday night character going, I really wish I could have solved that one myself.
Yeah. Once he finds out there was something to solve it that somebody else did it.
Yeah.
If we ever meet, we could tell him.
Well, I love how the times sort of overlap in different years at the moment, so each group is in a different game year.
And I just find it interesting that, a year from now, when Dimitri was sitting down with Harley for afternoon tea, she didn't mention anything about this. She just said, "Oh yeah, someone overheated the kettle."
Yeah. Well, she could wait another year and then tell you.
Well, she doesn't like to make people worry. She's one of those sort.
Okay then. Well, thanks very much.
Right.
Thank you.
All good. Thank you very much, guys.
See you tomorrow night for those I will. Otherwise, next week or the week after.
Yep.
That sounds good.
Sounds good.
So good
Catch you
night.
later.
Yeah. Yes, Martin.
Yep.
I will probably be around at some point because I wish to nick my nice camera back.
Yep.
And give you the one that I'm presently using as a webcam. Because I do actually need the better quality for some of the meetings that I'm doing.
All good. Whenever you want to.
So
tomorrow
Yeah.
if you want to.
Yeah, sometime. Not tonight.
Understood. Just give me a buzz and I should be up.
Yeah, I'll give you an estimate. Well, I'm working normal work hours at the moment, so it'll be sort of late afternoon, early evening.
Yep.
I normally finish at about 4:30, 5 o'clock, so it'll be just after that.
All good.
So, all right, you'll still have it. It still give you sufficient quality to show your dice, and doesn't take up as much room. Yeah. Yes. Right, good way to do it. But yeah, this one's it's not even special. It's a standard Logitech. It just happens to be standard VGA res only, which at the range you're doing things at is basically ideal. What you've got there is overkill by quite some margin. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's fair enough. All right, I will do that at some point very, very soon, probably tomorrow. So yeah. See you then. Bye bye.